Hey, people listening.
Welcome to a very special episode
of Another Bite of
of
Twilight.
Another Bite. I'm Mel.
I'm Kel. And we have our friend Dan back on the show.
Happy to be here, guys.
Hi, Dan.
Hello. How are you?
Okay, so if you guys didn't listen to that episode about a year ago, right? We
It was
had
episode 36, if I'm not mistaken.
wow,
Episode 36.
crazy. We had Dan on the show because, well, he's a great guy, but also because he had never seen Twilight before. And he is a guy.
A male, a straight male.
I am.
Straight male.
Say.
As far as I know.
Yeah. And he had never seen it, and he mindlessly hated it.
Wow.
For years.
Wait, I forgot that.
Did you hate it? You made...
Yeah. Well, I was part of the just collective of, males who were teenagers or, young adults during the time that Twilight was released that just automatically disliked it because that was the cool, thing to do back then. And so I just kind of piggybacked off of all of the preconceived notions that were out there without genuinely ever giving it a chance or ever watching even a minute of it. So guilty as charged.
And remind us, what had inspired you to give it a chance finally?
My good friend Mel had inspired me. No, and my girlfriend Amanda, who appeared on the last show, she grew up watching them and reading the books. She saw the first one in theaters, and I think most of them in theaters. And so, like, on my bookshelf, I live with her. On my bookshelf for all the Twilight books, and I don't know, the people who were closest to me held it dearly to my heart. And also, like, you guys, I'm so close to you guys, and you guys had this big podcast running, and like for me to be your friend but not listen to it or be associated with it was sort of hypocritical. So I had to do it at one point. So.
Yeah. Oh, you should tell Sean to do it. Sean, my brother.
I highly doubt that he would. I don't know. Would he? Maybe he would.
I don't know. The other day he said he was going to watch a movie, and he asked me what movie he should watch, and I said, you should watch Twilight.
Has your twin brother never seen?
He's never
seen it.
How's that
even possible? It's probably on in your house all the time.
I can remember, going over to your house in middle school and, early high school. As you remember, like me and your brother, Sean, we were always playing the Wii. Like we were obsessed with the Wii for a few years, and we loved to make silly Miis on the Wii. And you and your cousins and your friends, Mel, you would always create like Edward, Bella. And me and Sean, every time we would get on the Wii, would delete them. Like,
it's so mean.
And you would get so mad. And Sean's like, are you sure we should delete them again? I'm like, just delete them. And then you would just keep remaking them.
Yeah, you made them too on the Wii too, right?
I definitely did. Oh, that's such a nice detail you remembered. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's a good like anecdote to show how like savagely we partook in that just, like recreational hating of Twilight based on nothing at all but pop culture standards.
Also a good anecdote to show how obsessed we were that we had to make them on Wii.
The whole family.
I remember that actually, like, we'd make their skin really white, really pale. You have to do the eye color.
Yeah, that's all coming back to me. I remember what Jasper looked like.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, he was with the weird eyes.
Yeah.
Man.
So Dan, give us a little refresher reminder. What did you think of the first two movies back a year ago when you had watched them?
I still can't believe it's been like a year plus since I watched them.
So
I watched the first two movies. We did our episode, and then like a couple months later, I watched the other three, and then we had plans to do what we're doing right now, but then coronavirus struck, and it's been a year almost since like we've been postponing it, and finally now we're getting around to it. No, but my opinion of the first two, I ended up liking the first more than the second. My general consensus was that, all of the hating on the movies was probably more so just a cultural experience for young men to rally around.
Yeah.
More so than it was like rooted in, like factual anything. I did not dislike the movies. I thought that they had good storylines. I thought they were thought-provoking. I thought, the acting was generally good. I thought the movies had their flaws, and I wouldn't necessarily categorize them as, my type of movie that I'd like look forward to watching. But I enjoyed them, and I didn't think they were this pile of garbage that I'd been instructed to believe. And I have more thoughts, and I can build upon that a lot today when we talk about 3 through 5.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And you had a preference for Edward, I remember, in Twilight and New Moon.
Yes. Yeah. I had arrived at the end of episode 2 as member of Team Edward. But I know it sounds weird to say that I belong to a team, but I was, trying to be open to the pros and cons of each side,
Yeah.
Very mature of you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been amping myself up for this episode. I rewatched 3, 4, and 5 like the past week, like right before they got removed from Amazon Prime.
Perfect.
Like the last day that I was watching them was the day they were going to be removed. So it was this weird like fate going on. So I did that. I watched like short little recaps on YouTube of the first 2 movies, and I re-listened to our first podcast. And then in addition to that, for the past 7 days, every day I've drank 1 gallon of elk's blood to really,
Dan, thank you so much for doing all that. Like, I can't even believe it.
That is so committed.
Yeah, I feel pretty weird. I wanted to immerse myself. Also, like, I've been creating this false narrative in my head that, like, me reprising my, like, episode and coming back onto this show is, like, the most important moment of my life. Like, this is like Godfather fans waiting for, like, Al Pacino to reprise his role in Godfather 3. Like, and I've been like telling myself like that people have been waiting for this. This is important.
I mean, I don't want to speak for all listeners, but it seemed like people really liked your episode and people really liked you.
Yeah.
My ego's, the past year, my life has changed, man. My ego's massive right now. On top of the world. People sending me fan mail. No.
My friend Brittany,
I've got a few people who have actually like followed me on social media.
My friend Brittany listened to that episode and she said you seemed cool and that you should be on the radio.
Word. Well, repeat listeners will remember.
You were.
For 4 years. So this is actually super fun for me to get back into this recording mindset. It's like, it's a thrill.
Yeah.
You're really great at it.
Better than us.
Yeah. You guys have to stop inflating my ego or I'm going to explode.
You must be great in Zoom meetings at work.
Dan's so cool. Dan's so great.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, though, because I feel like Mel and I don't actually have that quality, that radio or podcast.
I would not say that. I mean, you clearly have a knack for it, given the popularity of this podcast, though.
Well, I think maybe people like how unprofessional we are. If that makes
so I'm going about it all wrong.
No.
And other About It Twilight fans are very critical of me.
No, I think it's probably refreshing to have a voice come in on the show suddenly that like
knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So let's start with Eclipse.
Let's get into it.
We should.
Yeah.
I remember watching this with you and you had a lot of opinions a year ago.
Now, did you watch 3 through 5 with me or just was it?
I watched 3. You came over here to watch Eclipse with us, actually. Remember?
It was over there.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
And
was
we
I
watched.
there?
Yeah, you were there too.
Oh yeah.
We watched it on this TV behind us.
Also, I remember you and Amanda coming over like right before COVID happened, and we got pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched like a debate on the TV. That was like one of the last social interactions that we had.
I know.
Crazy. I think Corona was like already a thing, but nobody was really taking it seriously yet. But we were wondering if we should. It was that kind of thing.
Yeah, no one knew like the extent. And then it was like the following day. It was like,
I know.
shut down.
Yeah. So I've thought about that.
They kept saying for weeks like they kept saying for weeks, like there was only one confirmed case in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Like 80 suspected cases. We're like, oh, those are just suspected cases.
Yeah.
There's only one that's
Yeah.
confirmed.
That was a transitional period.
Yeah, so that was a while
Yes.
ago.
But
It's
you just
time.
watched.
It's time.
So you just watched Eclipse this week. Should we just go down through the plot of what happens and you react to read us your notes? How do you want to go about this?
I think that's a good idea. I can give like general overarching comments, and then we can go through, like, you can ask me questions, and then I can give like concluding comments. Like I said before to you guys before we started the recording, I have like zillions of bullets, like some that are pretty hilarious.
Just tell us them, yeah.
Yeah.
Twilight Saga.
What's your first note?
Well, I have like plot notes, like, and I have opinion notes. So let me like run through like the opinion notes. But like overall, my reaction, at least from the beginning of the movie, like I noticed this off the bat, like you can tell that this is a higher budget film.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's directed by someone new. And something that I noticed is that it's shot very quickly. And like for a while, the movie is just dialogue after dialogue after dialogue after dialogue. Like it's two people sitting down talking to each other and like sort of catching up with each other. And it's just scene after scene after scene after scene of just talking without much action going on.
Yeah.
And it's sort of I don't know, it was very, very fast paced. I also noticed that the shots were brighter and sunnier, and that there was like less of the dark, gloomy vibe going on, and that in general it was less atmospheric, and it was a lot more like rushed and like, all right, we got to get this movie done, we got to get this movie out.
Yeah.
Because of all the popularity that was like arising around it. But eventually the movie slows down when the Cullens start having flashbacks of their human lives. And that was the coolest part of the whole movie, like when we got to see the background of like Jasper like in his Civil War days and blah 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 blah. I thought that was like the coolest part of the movie.
Yeah, and Rosalie's flashbacks.
Yes. Yep. Let's see. One thing that I noticed in this movie that I don't remember noticing in 1 and 2 is that there was some product. Did you guys notice there was some product placement going on in the movie? Like there were a few instances you could see a Volvo logo, you could see like a Seattle Mariners logo. They like mentioned CNN. Like that was something that I didn't necessarily like either, because it was like, again, like this is a high budget movie. They're getting product placement in there for money.
Yeah. Well, Volvo.
So it was definitely less indie.
Yeah. Well, Volvo, Edward drives a Volvo in the books.
Yeah, it's odd. Like Stephenie Meyer has this fixation on the cars everyone drives, and actually says he drives a Volvo in the books. I don't know why.
And then so Volvo, then when it became popular, they took advantage of that all they could. And they even had to, I think for New Moon, change his car so they could have the car that he was driving be the newest Volvo that was coming out for that year, which didn't make sense with the story at all.
Also, it's weird because, like, I don't know, the movie, at least when the, like, second, third, fourth, fifth movies were coming out, the movies were, like, definitely more aimed at, like, younger, like, preteen girls, teenage girls, like, not necessarily people who would be buying Volvos. Like, I don't know, like, where that...
Yeah, that's true.
The placement of that is going to pay off.
A lot of older women were into them too, but still.
Some people did buy Volvos because of Twilight, though.
There you go.
Honestly, as a teenager, I didn't really know car brands. I think that's when I first learned what a Volvo was from Twilight.
Okay, so...
So maybe they thought people would grow up to then buy a Volvo. It's a long-term investment.
Yeah. The Mariners, though, I don't know. Because it is supposed to be set in Washington. Like, do you think the Mariners is actually product placement, or are they just trying to like make it seem really Northwest?
I don't know if it's like necessarily product placement, but like I know like you can't just throw like a corporate logo into a movie without like the permission of
CNN. They are watching CNN in the book as well, actually.
Really?
Whoa. Yeah. Okay, so I guess there's some attention to detail there. Like I just assumed like, I don't know, those were thrown into the movie for placement, but if those are actually details from the book, very cool.
It is a little
kudos to the
jarring, though. I think it is weird for like a sort of fantasy story to have brands in it. It is
Yeah.
weird.
It
And
probably was product placement as well.
I get what you're saying. It is definitely less atmospheric. Yeah. I always felt that about Breaking Dawn, but I wasn't sure if I felt that way about Eclipse, but yeah.
There are also some CGI moments that like totally didn't work for me. I think there were some that really were like triumphs. Like the werewolves, I think they did a fine job on in 3. I also think like the running animations were like a lot better in 3. But this was the movie with like they're sleeping in a tent out in the snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
The snow scenes, that was like such clear green screen. That I didn't like. And I'll tell you one thing, the first time, like before I ever watched any of the Twilights, I was flipping through channels once on TV and like Eclipse was on and I happened to like pause on it just to see what it looks like. And it was that scene when they were standing in the snow with Riley and Victoria. I'm like, this looks horrible.
Yeah.
And like that's sort of that for a few years like informed my hatred of it. I think that like 5 seconds that I saw,
like they don't look wet at all. They're in snow and there's like their clothes is just completely falling off of them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ugh, why didn't they actually?
No, but for the most part, I think it worked, and I think there were improvements on the CGI with the higher budgeting. But like, to a certain extent, like if you go overboard, it's just going to make it look so artificial, and that's what happened in that scene, at least.
Yeah,
totally.
What did you think of the hair and makeup in this movie? I remember when we watched it, you said that Carlisle looked like an action figure.
The Cullens in general, I almost wrote a bullet about that. I remember almost writing a bullet about that. He did look like an action figure. And I don't know if I remember applying to the other characters, but like, I was thinking this, like, okay, so you're a vampire, you've been on planet Earth for who knows, like could be hundreds of years, and still every day you have the energy to like put impeccable makeup and make your hair look amazing and yada yada. Like Alice's makeup always is like unbelievably perfect every day of her 100+ year existence. It's kind of hilarious to think about.
Are we supposed to believe it's makeup or that's just how their face looks?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't
Definitely
know,
is
but
makeup. It looks like makeup.
Nobody naturally has like shimmery pink eyelids or like black lines on their
they almost
eyelids.
act like it's just their face.
I guess one argument would be vampires can do things very quickly, so maybe it's no bother to do makeup.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, if she can do it in 6 seconds, I why not?
Yeah.
No, that was kind of funny. Yeah.
And they don't sleep,
Might
so
as well.
probably like never have days where they feel like looking like crap.
Another point that I thought of is that like, so yeah, vampires never sleep and they're around for hundreds of years potentially. Like they must be good at so many things. Like they could master any sport, any game, any art or like field at all. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm surprised you don't see them like excelling at different like fields more often. But I guess there was the scene in like the first or second one when they played baseball and everyone was just insanely good at it,
Yeah, we should see more of that in the movies. Like we know that they all have their passions that they're so good at, but we don't really see them doing it. I feel like that'd be more impressive.
Yeah, I've always wondered, how has one of them not become famous or something because they're really good
By
at
accident,
something? I don't know.
Like Carlisle as a doctor, for instance. Like I feel like he would be well renowned.
Yeah. I arrived at the conclusion that Carlisle was definitely like, the character of Carlisle was definitely written to be a doctor so that, in the 4th movie when like the birth is happening, etc., like, and Bella's sick, that like that could be accommodated for. Yeah. I want to say that that's the reason why Carlisle was a doctor and was always destined to be a doctor for that reason. Because like, how else could you have like all this medical equipment and be prepared to
I know.
Why if you didn't write Carlisle as a doctor, there would be no other way to explain that or to.
He helps Bella like 5 times throughout the series.
Yeah.
He's the MVP. And honestly, like we'll get into detail more about this later, but like at the end of the entire saga, I was like, I think I'm just like Team Cullen family. Like I like the Cullens as a collective. I think they're pretty cool. We can talk about that later.
I think they're pretty cool. Me too.
Well, so in Eclipse, this is really when the love triangle comes to a peak.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on this? There's a lot of stuff with Jacob. He was
Oh
really
God.
feisty in this movie.
I was like so like, yeah, I'm Team Edward at the end of number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But in 3, 4, and 5, I don't know, I started seeing worse sides of both of them through the whole love triangle thing, to the point that I wasn't like gung-ho about Team Edward at the end of it all. I think the needle is still tilting towards Edward,
Yeah.
but I don't think that he, was fully redeemed by the end of it. I thought that I think he pissed me off here and there. Don't know if I can.
What were the things that pissed you off?
Let me go through my notes here. I just think
can't believe this.
I think he comes off as like very self-righteous in I'm not going to say just the 3rd, 4th, and 5th movies, but like you can tell that he always is 100% certain that he knows what is right and what is right for Bella, and that Jacob is wrong and I am right, and etc. And he's so self-assured of it. I don't know. I think I was repelled from his lack of like open-mindedness, but at the same time, he could just be so freaking wise because he's 108 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
But he has like transcended these like social values. I don't know. But Jacob also pissed me off a lot. In that, like he's so vindictive. Like he always wants to. It's like, yeah, he wants Bella, but he also wants to beat Edward. There's a whole dynamic here where he specifically wants to beat Edward, and like Edward and Jacob will converge, and like Bella will be there, and like Jacob will like take his shirt off and like rev his motorcycle, and Edward will be like giving her like a long kiss in front of him, and like there's this like, I don't know, there's this back and forth of them like flaunting their ownership over Bella. That was like, come on guys, I don't know. But Edward usually was more cool, calm, and collected about it, whereas Jacob was like always very heated about it and not so level-headed. Again, he's like a teenager with hormones, so it kind of makes sense.
What did you think about the kisses though between Jacob and Bella? There was 2.
There was the one that she didn't want at first, right? And then there was the one in the snow where she.
Yeah.
I mean that. I think number 3 must be like a big Team Jacob movie, because they see a lot of like wins for the Jacob team, like the spooning in the tent, which made me want to throw up, and then the kiss in the snow, which made me want to throw up. Can I just say something? This is probably my biggest thought after all these movies, after watching all of them, and I think this pivot started after the first movie, because like a lot of like Amanda went to see the first Twilight with her dad and with her brother, and there was not a lot of fanfare around Twilight, and like they thought it was so cool. They thought Twilight, oh, this is a sick story, etc. And then it started gaining traction, and like by the time like the 3rd movie came out, like it seemed like the producers and the directors were so after like pandering towards like the romance fans and the young teen girl fans. And there was so much fan service, and there was so much romance in number 3, and like the drawn out like sexual scenes in number 3. It's like, I almost think that if they had not focused so much on this fan service and this like romantic aspect, that Twilight could have remained to just be like this, like almost like this Game of Thronesy, like just epic sort of like movie that everyone could have rallied around. And I think it's sort of I don't want to say ruined it, but it hugely changed it.
I agree.
And I think there are great. This is like it's a good story. It's really a good story, and there's good writing and there's good character development. But they focus so much on the romance that it sort of took away from it. And like I don't know, if you not removed it, but if you like muted it a little bit, scaled it back a little bit, like this could have been just like another like epic quote unquote Game of Thrones-esque phenomenon. That everyone could have sort of rallied behind, because you saw it happening with Twilight 1. But, like, I definitely think it was overdone. I think that, like, there was probably, like 15 minutes of Edward and Bella going back and forth, like, being horny for each other. And,
they
like,
make out so much in this movie.
Yeah.
There's so
And
much
the undertones in like the tent scene and the love triangle, like, yeah, it exists in the book, and like, yeah, there is a love triangle. I just think like, I don't know, it was polarizing, and I think it was overall like probably a bad move for
Mhm.
for the franchise, because it is what disenfranchised a lot of the people who were not romantic, you know.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. Like, under it all, I really thought, you know, this is a good story. It's not necessarily like a super like revolutionary or like unique story. I think it falls back on a lot of like traditional literary tropes, but I think it does a very good job at it. And
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
I like to hear that,
So you
Dan.
can, okay,
I get what you're
now
saying.
that all that's out of the way.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I do think that that's just not what Twilight is, though. Like, I love Game of Thrones and like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, and it could have been if it. I just kind of wish. I don't really wish that it didn't have all the romance. Like, I frankly like it, and I know that turns people away. But I do wish that like some of the world building, I guess you could say, was a little more developed, or like the dramas with like Victoria and all of that. Like, it just feels a little flimsy to me. I wish that was.
It took a backseat.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just didn't seem as high stakes, really, or it always seemed like, oh, the same villain for like 3 movies. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know.
That's what bothered me about the later movies too, the pandering to the audience. Because one, I feel like they misunderstood the audience or belittled it to think that we're a little bit less intellectual than we are, and you know, it's just teenage girls. Oh, they're gonna find this so funny. Like the lines, like, "Oh, but I'm hotter than you," or all the kissing, all the making out. Like,
It made me laugh.
yeah, like we could have just
Yeah.
had more substance in those like
That's
those
true.
moments. And I do think that the love triangle was really never meant to be as big as it was. Like that became such
But
a
that,
marketing
you know,
angle.
yeah, like it was definitely a strength in one way. Like it really solidified a lot of people, but it also
Mhm.
polarized a bunch of
Yeah.
people as well.
Well, also at
And
the
like
same
obviously,
time,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, Twilight definitely needs the romantic angle to an extent. And like you remember in my last episode, like I was definitely into the romantic dynamics that were happening. I just
Mhm.
think it was overplayed in the
Yeah.
third one. It's very important to the story. I just think it was overdone and
In
overplayed and
Eclipse,
over
maybe.
centralized.
I was just thinking just now, like if you are Team Jacob, how are you
Yeah.
gonna want to watch the Breaking Dawns when you know that Bella chooses Edward in the end? When
I
you
mean,
got such a big
I was satisfied in that they had a solid explanation, like a solid like compromise for both teams in the end. That like Jacob remains a, you know, an establishment in Bella's life, and that she's like he becomes like almost a member of the Cullen clan in a way, and he like bridges the gap between the Cullens and the werewolves, and like he doesn't lose, you know, he doesn't completely lose, and I think he matures a ton when he spends time with the Cullen family and sort of like sees them as people and like gets to know them. And so I think it was good writing to an extent. Like I don't think like Edward came out on top per se, because Edward fucking Jacob was right to an extent. Edward almost ruined everything, and it made me resent Edward a little bit. But no, I liked how it came full circle in the end, and I think. Yes, I'll say I'm Team Edward in the end, but I was close to being like, you know what, I don't know if I'm either team. I'm definitely not Team Jacob.
Yeah.
I definitely I'm telling you, I like the Cullens as a whole, but for a while there, I was like, I don't know, I was a little less passionately Team Edward.
What specifically happened in Eclipse that made you start to lose love for Edward?
It wasn't really so much Eclipse.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, no, maybe. Oh, hold on, let me look at my.
Well, it's funny.
The
Like
birth
Edward
didn't happen till the fourth one, right?
The what?
The birth didn't happen till the fourth one.
Yeah, the fourth one.
Okay, so that's really when the pendulum started to swing a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Team at the end of 3, I was still Team Edward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
I do remember though, like when I got the Breaking Dawn book, reading the back of it, they have like a little excerpt, and I remember how old was I, going into 8th grade, being like, is this, even though they were engaged, I think I remember being like, is this about Edward or Jacob? Like maybe she still ends up with Jacob. Like I was so worried. So I gotta say, I do think the books were kind of a lot about the love triangle too. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we can pretend like it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. I
um,
think
yeah,
I
but
think
there's a lot
in the
more.
third movie, like Jacob's like his like adolescent sassiness just like did not slow down at all. Like him throwing the shit in the garage
Oh
and
yeah.
him like just having like the smirks on his face in front of Edward, making the sassy comments. Like that wasn't helping his cause, you know. Like
Yeah.
I never really I've never really liked Jacob's attitude or the way he, you know, like is a friend to Bella. I think he comes off
Yeah.
as very selfish a lot of times. Like he thinks he owns Bella. He thinks he
Mm-hmm.
has this like I guess yeah, this ownership over her, like as he's known her for so much longer and as he's a human. And they're both self-righteous in a lot of ways, but his is a little more obnoxious. So like I don't know, I don't like him as a guy in general. So um the pendulum never was going towards Jacob, but it was sort of like less intensely towards Edward, I'd say.
Mm. What did you think of Bella in this movie, the third one?
Um, jog my memory a little bit. What do I have to remember to
Well,
base
I don't
that?
really. I guess, like, do you think that Bella is fair to both of the guys?
Yeah, like her behavior is a little.
Oh, I mean, she's definitely like leading. She's so, I mean, you have to remember, like, she's a teenager, and this happens to a lot of teenagers who have love triangles. Like, they try to be nice to the one that they don't really love as much, and they try to be respectful. And they don't really like say no in the most productive way. And that definitely happened with her and Bella. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, with with her and Jacob. Um,
Her and herself.
like she bungled it, but like, could you blame her? I don't know.
Yeah. What did you think
I
about the
think I
proposal? Oh, sorry.
what?
The proposal scene. What did you think about that?
What did the proposal scene look like?
Well, remember they were like making out at first?
In the bed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Was
he
that
like,
steamy?
oh, it was definitely steamy. Yeah, I think that was the catharsis that a lot of people were looking for with Edward and Bella.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious how he had like the old world values. And he's like, I have to wait until marriage, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, maybe that's like a Mormon value coming through from
Mm-hmm.
the author. I don't know. But that was definitely good for the story in that it like drew out the love triangle even more because Bella's like being prevented from like really getting her love out to Edward, and like I
True.
don't know, I could see why she'd be maybe frustrated with him, but I knew the whole time that no matter what she was gonna move forward and marry him and become a vampire. Like she's just she's so infatuated with this idea of being like a mystical being, with being a
Mm.
vampire. And there's clearly something going on with her existence that's like supernatural. um and like I genuinely like I like see her being way more happy selling her soul and becoming a vampire
Yeah.
than growing old with like say Jacob. Say she married Jacob, I feel like in the back of her head she would always be thinking about vampire life,
Yeah.
vampire life, vampire life. So I I never for a moment thought that she was gonna end up with Jacob, and I didn't know how the story was gonna end. It just seemed like it should just seem like Bella. It seemed like this is
Mhm.
what she was for. It's her
I
personality.
To your earlier point about Jacob's attitude, I never understood like why. I guess that is a very teenage thing, but like why is she even friends with him? Like what is she getting out of it? Like maybe they're just not showing us the good moments, but it seems
Yeah,
like a lot of the moments they show us are him being
Aggressive. Yeah.
like making comments about her boyfriend.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
and like he's not like a very good friend to her, and
Hmm.
he was like in the fourth one he was like not supportive of her whatsoever. Like she was
Yeah.
like gonna die, and he was basically like, I fucking told you so. Like I'm leaving, I'm peacing out. But then when he had the chance to like defend her and show Edward how strong he was, he comes back and like, you little asshole, like you just want to throw up in front of Edward.
I
Um,
fucking told you so.
but no, he's not a good friend. He's really not a good friend. I think there's more of like a brotherly connection because they've known each other for so long. Their families have known each other for so long. I think she
Mhm.
could never not be his friend. Like you're always attached to your siblings. I think they're always attached to that like old time connection they have as being friends for so long.
Yeah.
And I think when Bella says, that when Bella hints at the fact that, she loves him, Jacob, I think it's more of this like brotherly love. Like, I love you as a human. You're like family to me. But I don't see her as wanted to like get in bed with Jacob at any point.
Yeah.
Like that's not, I don't know. I don't know, he's not immortal. That's not her kink.
Yeah,
True.
it's not her kink.
He's not a vampire.
Well, do you have any more thoughts about Eclipse specifically, or should we move on to
Well,
Breaking Dawn?
ask me questions about certain like events and I can tell you what I thought of them, because that's what we did the last episode. I think that was our format.
Okay. Specific events.
So what about your notes?
Those were most of my notes for the third one. If you
Okay.
want, I can candidly read some of the bullets. They're
Yeah,
funny.
I would like to
sure.
hear some.
I'll
Even
just
if they hurt
rawly
us.
read some of them.
Don't hurt us. No, you
Ready?
can't.
This one says, snow scenes look like shit.
They really do. It pisses me off.
This one says werewolf bites were not realistic. Okay, listen, those werewolves are like massive. And you see them like chomping at the necks of these people and like nothing's happening. Like, I'm sorry, like one bite to the head and sayonara.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
the werewolves
One
were
bite.
struggling. They were like nibbling on the shoulders almost. Like, your head is like 5 feet wide. Like, you could just chomp this dude.
I never noticed that.
This is another one. This is the last bullet of the third one. Can't stand Dakota Fanning. Also, she's an ass for having Felix kill the asylum's newborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why couldn't you stand her? Like,
Just her face, mostly. The Volturi suck. They suck. Except Marcus. I'm always going to be a suck
but he
for
wasn't
him.
in this one.
He wasn't in the third one, but he was in the fourth and fifth one. But in the end, I ended up just... I was almost like, you know what? Yeah, the Volturi, they're the standard for the vampires on Earth. I think they suck balls. And I think the Cullens almost should function as the new standard of the vampire existence, because I think the Cullens have like amazing values. And I think Carlisle is like the coolest patriarch in the entire movie, in the entire saga. And if everyone could follow Carlisle's model, like, everything would be so much better.
But what happens?
Arrow's like...
Oh, sorry.
No, go on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what happens when people don't? Could you see the Cullens punishing other vampires for not following the rules?
Yeah, I mean, we see them kill vampires.
Yeah. I feel like that kind of power could corrupt anyone.
Oh, yeah. Maybe like they're not like this in a seat of power, but I think they should be the ethical standard, that vampires should like adhere to. I think that... Oh yeah, I'm remembering this now. Something that pissed me off about the third one is that like, okay, so Victoria, bites Riley and like bites all they bite all these other people and they like amass this like little army for Victoria. Like, why? Maybe I'm missing something, but why did Riley and all those vampires just like agree to like follow her after so she sneaks up on them in public, kills them, destroys their livelihood, and enslaves them. And like Riley's like all like, "You are my master." What? What is that about? Why do they all follow her? I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, they don't really explain it in the movie. I think it's just that they don't know any other way, and I think they like have this uncontrollable thirst, and Riley like shows them how to survive. And I think you wouldn't know this if you don't read them, and it's not even in the actual book. It's in like a side spin-off book that explains everything, but like he tells them that like they'll burn in the sunlight and stuff, and they're basically just lied to and they think that's like the only way to live as a vampire, basically. So I don't know. In this group, in that book, it did say some of them like ran away from this army. But
it should be, we should see it a little bit more in the movie, because I do think any adaptation, people who don't read the book, they should still understand this knowledge.
Yeah, like why?
Yeah, because it didn't make too much sense. Like why would anyone agree to follow her?
Yeah, because
murdered and enslaved.
I guess I left out, they tell all the newborn vampires, like, there's this group of vampires, the Cullens, and they're trying to take our territory. They're trying to take all of our blood. Like, they're going to fight us. They don't want us to have blood here or whatever. So they're like lied to. They say that the Cullens are a threat to their food source or whatever. So that's why, but they don't say that in the movies. Like,
yeah.
What? Yeah.
I see.
They should have done that. They should have showed Riley saying, like, we need to fight them because I think he might say something like we're not free, or maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Maybe it's just in the books.
Is there anyone out there that's like identifies with the Victoria's clan and those people? Like, does any? Because I know there's some people who watch Star Wars and they like the dark side and they're into that. Like, do people ever adhere to like Victoria's gang? Or do people like the Volturi? Do people ever like?
People do like
the bad dudes.
Yeah,
people love the Volturi.
Yeah,
I don't know about Victoria though. I mean, I think people like Victoria, but I don't know if anyone's wicked into like the whole Riley thing.
Yeah, he was a little shit. He was a little
yeah, but no.
But
you know what's weird?
Like the villain.
I don't know if this was. It had to have been subconscious, but I was watching the movie, and I didn't know what Riley's name was, and I just like sarcastically guessed his name because I thought he looked like a Riley, and I said Riley, and his name was Riley. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, they do show him on a missing persons paper in the beginning of the movie that Charlie's looking at, and it says his name is Riley.
Yeah, I think I like subconsciously looked at that, but like I thought I was guessing it, and then when I found out it was his name, I was like, whoa!
Oh my God.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, but I definitely saw it like 3 seconds earlier. I don't know.
What other things in Eclipse should we ask him about? There's the graduation. Any thoughts on that? Anna Kendrick gives a speech.
Oh yeah. I don't really remember what the speech was like.
It was like, so make mistakes.
Yeah.
Take the train and get lost somewhere. Major in philosophy because there's no way to make a living at that. Fall in love.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Everything she says is super snarky. Like at the wedding when she's like, you know, like she's like making a toast, but she's making it all about herself. I think that's kind of funny. Every time that Twilight tries to be funny, like I appreciate those like comic like relief breaks. Like I think the wedding speeches, that was a good moment for comic relief in the fourth one. Yeah. And I like every time they wrap in like the high school friends back into the story, which they sort of like have moments for throughout all the movies. And you see like Mike in the background and you're like, what if Bella and Mike?
What if? Yeah, I like the humans. I like when they're included.
Yeah.
So do you want us to just jump to breaking down part 1?
Yeah, if you don't have any more questiones about Numero Tres.
No, I will say, would you believe that Eclipse is the highest rated movie critically?
I remember the first time I watched Eclipse, I didn't believe that. And I guess the second time around, I believed it more. But no, I wouldn't agree with it. I'm distracted from the like overextensive romantic scenes. Oh, something that was so funny. Wait, was this the third one? Maybe not. No, that's the fourth one. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm excited.
It's a good bullet with the fourth one.
So funny.
You guys are gonna piss your pants.
So Eclipse ends. Breaking Dawn Part 1 starts. First of all, what do you think about them splitting them into 2 movies?
Okay. I think it was necessary because the third movie, they crammed a whole lot into it. And I was talking about how like for the first half of the movie, it was almost like just catching up on dialogue and really quick scenes of dialogue over and over and over again. By the time the fourth and fifth movies came out, it was a lot like more spacious and slowed down. And like that like sort of harkened back to the first movie, and I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So I totally agree with it. I think I liked the fourth one a lot. I like the fourth one more than the fifth one, just because the fifth one, it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's like focusing so much on Bella Edward, Bella Jacob, Bella, and then you get to the fifth one, and it's almost like it's totally zooms out from them, and it
I know.
Vampire Land, and so it's harder to feel as into it for not the entire movie, but for much of the movie. The fourth one though, that is it's so focal on Bella Edward Jacob, and I think the story has the coolest elements in the fourth one, but I think there are a lot of scenes that I was was like fucking shocked at, like when the camera goes inside her veins and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this? And when the werewolves have their meeting and they're like talking and grunting at the same time. My bullet on that was like, this is the worst moment in the Twilight saga. This is
we agree. It's the worst. Oh my gosh.
We hate that scene. Even in the theater, we were like covering our eyes.
No, like, I think it would have been better if the wolves were all barking at each other and it had subtitles. Because I don't know if it was necessarily the wolves that were the issue visually. I think it was the audio, the way they were talking.
Yeah.
Like, oh my, I was like, chill out.
I guess when that scene ends, I'm like,
I wasn't born to follow you.
I'm just gonna start fast forwarding through that every time. No.
Yeah, I think there's a DVD option where you could just skip that scene.
They should have like a new version, like a new director's cut, and just get rid of
director's cut. It's the same exact thing, just with that fast forwarded.
It becomes like a children's movie at that point. It becomes like a Disney Channel movie.
Talking animals, big no go. Because why didn't they have the werewolves talk to each other in any of the other moments?
I know.
We've talked about this. They should have been humans fighting, talking, like yelling at each other, and then turn into wolves and like attack each other.
Yeah, we know it's not true to the book, but it's some things you cannot portray on screen.
No.
And that was one of them.
Yes, I agree.
So bad.
So, okay, so my overall thoughts on the fourth one. The vibes, like I said, slower, more spacious, a little bit darker than the third one, which I liked. I think there was sort of definitely making an effort to make the movies, like harken back to the originals. The music is like orchestral in the fourth one, I noticed. Like it's a lot more orchestral, like the background music, not like the first couple at all, when you have like the acoustic music going on in the background. One of the first scenes in the fourth one, does it like kick off with the wedding?
It kicks off with Jacob getting the invitation and dropping it on the ground and running away.
Oh yeah, okay. So Jacob, the kid was not late to the wedding. Like that was not like, oh, I just happened to show up when like the ceremony had just finished. No.
I know.
No. He wasn't just late for the wedding. He definitely planned that. He was definitely going to be way too emotional and to be there during the actual thing.
That's so true.
He didn't want to see that shit. He like walks up slowly, not like he's rushing. He's not sweaty or anything. He casually walks out of the woods. He's like, sorry, I was late. No.
Yeah.
No.
That's so true.
The nerve of this guy, and Bella believes him.
Yeah.
He missed the entire ceremony.
Best man didn't have time to get a tux.
Like, why did
And he was trying to be all macho. He's like, yeah, I was in northern Canada. At least I think I was. Like, you were just right over there waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just in the bushes the whole
And he wasn't in northern Canada being some macho man. He was in northern Canada because he was being a sissy, avoiding this emotional turmoil. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true. We've never talked about that.
But going into the wedding, like,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, that was a cool, like, props to the set designers. That is a cool wedding. That was not CGI. You could tell, like, they actually set that up. At least it appeared like they actually set that up.
Gorgeous.
Like, that's probably a dream wedding for a lot of people. That exact, like, that exact aesthetic. Like, I would love to have a wedding that looked like that. That's so cool.
Yeah, me too.
So I enjoyed that scene a lot. I think that the a part that was too cheesy for my liking was the music that was playing like during their kiss. Like I think it was Iron and Wine playing. Like I like Iron and Wine and all, but like it was a little too, I don't know. I feel like a ton of people probably loved that. I thought a ton of people probably like so into that romantic moment, but for me it was like a little over the edge.
I do love that because
overall,
if you remember, that song is a song that plays during the prom scene in the first
Yeah.
Twilight.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. I don't know. It was cool.
I get it. It's like almost, I mean, I love it like Mel,
Mhm.
but I can see it being a little too much.
Well, then, because then the audience,
oh yeah, they disappear. Yeah.
disappear.
That
Congregation.
was kind of clever. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were lost in the moment.
And then there's all the speeches, which is, have you ever been to a wedding where people make, like, everybody gets up and gives a
Actually,
speech?
I did.
Oh, really?
And it was kind of weird.
Wait,
Well,
like every person?
Not every person, but it was at the wedding I went to in Vermont, and so many people just kept grabbing the mic and getting up and giving a speech.
Just like
man.
not prepared speeches.
Yeah.
That's
Like
funny.
people just were like, my turn, and like took the mic and just started. It was so, I mean, it was nice, but it was so long.
Yeah.
I meant to tell you that. It was,
I didn't know that.
it was just like, even Abby
made a speech.
made one.
Yeah, because at that point everyone's like drunk too. So like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how it finally ended.
Anyone like who would be sober at a wedding like that would be so impatient with that process. Like, come on, 10th speech in a row. Let's move. We don't care.
Mm-hmm. But usually I think just the dads, right? And in like the maid of honor and
I think the
best man.
Yeah, best man.
And the best
gave a
man.
speech at his brother's.
I did one at my brother's wedding because I was the best man. There were just two speeches. It was the bridesmaid and then, or the maid of honor and then me. That was it, which was nice.
I've heard dads do it before too, for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My dad.
I think that's probably typical.
Did Charlie?
So after the wedding, it like jumps right into the honeymoon, right? Not okay. Don't really love this Edward moment because, like, Edward just took it upon himself to plan the honeymoon like totally by himself. Like again, another moment where he's like totally sure of himself. Like, I don't even have to tell Bella. Like, I know this is right. I've probably been thinking about this honeymoon for 100 years. Like, we're doing it my way. So I was like a little, I don't know, not into that. But at the same time, yeah, that's what I wrote down. I said, I think that's what Bella wants in a man. Like, perhaps because her dad is so in command of things, like as a police officer. That's what I wrote down.
Maybe.
Like, I think he's totally into like a man who just like, I don't know, like plans everything and, takes her under his wing, etc.
I feel like she's not into, like customs like that. Like she doesn't really care where she goes on her honeymoon as long as she's with Edward. And she's also not extravagant. So whatever her plans were probably wouldn't have been that huge,
And she didn't, like leading up to the wedding, like she didn't care about like how she was dressed, and, like wearing the heels. She didn't really want to wear the heels, etc.
Doesn't care. I would not like that. I definitely want to have a say in my honeymoon.
Yeah.
But Bella is the perfect girl for that scenario because she doesn't care.
At the same time, though, I think Jacob probably would have done the same thing. Jacob probably would have taken her to some spot in the woods, some epic mountain in the woods.
Yeah, where would Jacob
was like 10 miles away?
Yeah, here's a hot water spring.
Oh, this is my dad's
a mud bath.
We're gonna hunt.
We're gonna go fishing.
Yeah. Or just somewhere
cool.
northern Canada. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, northern Canada. I don't know.
Miami.
Might be New Mexico. I'm not even sure.
She definitely likes that though. Like if you think about Mike is very like, oh, I don't know, like whatever you want. She doesn't like that. She likes someone that's like, Bella, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. So I think like I was like, yeah, like I'm kind of annoyed by how Jacob handled it. I mean, by how Edward handled it, but it didn't matter because that was totally what she'd be down with.
Yeah.
What else did I say about Edward? La 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 la.
What do you think about the lovemaking scene?
Lovemaking.
Oh yeah. That was too. I was talking about this when we were talking about 3, just because I couldn't help myself from making the point. But like, it was too drawn out, And like, so they do the lovemaking, and then they show them play chess, and they show them swimming, and they're doing more things in the bed. And they just literally 20 minutes of them going back and forth. That could have been like dedicated to something else, But that funny bullet that I was talking about, hold on, that has to do with the honeymoon.
What is
it? Has to do with when they're playing chess. I don't know if I can find the exact, but hold on. I have like 1,000 bullets here.
You should read them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Just read. Just go through the list of your bullets.
Do you want me to just read them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, what's the funny one?
I can't find it. I guess we'll eventually find it if I read them in order. But it has to do with the fact that it shows them the first time they're playing chess in the montage. They do it twice, but like if you actually, I like paused it and rewound it. If you actually look at the move that Bella does, it is so clearly the stupidest thing ever. Because like Edward has his queen in broad daylight, just lined up at the middle of the board.
Yeah.
And Bella just takes her king, which is like guarded by a pawn, and just moves it one space so that it is directly in front of the queen. And then Edward just immediately knocks it down and wins. And I'm like, okay, she definitely just wants to end the game so that they can go do it some more. Like funny. If you go back and watch it, it is so hilarious.
I never noticed that. Oh my god!
But that's a good attention to detail that she does just want the game to end.
Oh no, she's so bored. You could tell she doesn't want anything.
Yeah. It's sad. Like she's only had sex once.
Yeah.
I feel for her. Like she's been pining after this guy for so long, and now he just wants to play chess.
Yeah.
And they're married? Like that was the deal. Like we get married and I can have sex with you, and now they're just playing chess.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Edward wasn't equally, I mean, I guess eventually he was, and it showed them, they moved into that cottage together and they just like didn't stop it. But like he's been waiting 110 years for this. She's only
Well, what do you think about the bruises on her though? Can you see why Edward is like not again?
Sorry.
Okay, here's the thing. Bella definitely wants it rough.
Yeah.
Bella is definitely like that is definitely Bella's style.
No, that happens sometimes.
Edward should know. Like I know that Bella, you can tell Bella is totally okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
She wants one thing. It doesn't matter how she gets it from Edward.
Yeah.
I guess that.
And I was like, that was kind of annoying how like Edward like killed the moment in the morning.
I know.
It is.
She was clearly so okay with it, but I didn't believe that like she only had like one tiny bruise on her shoulder and her elbow. I thought it was gonna be way worse than that, based on how Jacob and everyone made it. Like, you're gonna die if he does this to you, and she has a little bruise.
I mean, I guess she does get pregnant.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go through my bullets now, which may or may not make sense chronologically. First one. Where do the pants go when you turn into a werewolf?
I think they just explode.
Yeah, they rip apart. That's why they always wear like shorts.
Yeah, but when you turn back into a person,
they're naked.
You know what I'm saying? Did they just never show that? Maybe they just never show that.
They never show it. But they kind of show it at the end of Eclipse. You know, when Jacob gets injured?
Yeah.
He's naked in that scene.
Nice.
Yeah. I remember, I think on the commentary for Breaking Dawn, the director said something about the wolves were all going to be there. I forget why. There was some idea they had where they were all going to be like naked. And then I thought that was I can't remember.
Just lined up.
I don't know if it was Eclipse or Breaking Dawn, but there was something where they were going to like all phase out. But they thought that would look strange. So they wouldn't show it, obviously, it's PG-13, but like, just show they're not wearing clothes somehow.
Yeah. Second bullet, we already talked about. Music is more orchestral.
Mm-hmm.
Third bullet in quotes, waiting a century to marry you. Which I thought was kind of interesting when Edward said that, like, are you waiting a century to get married? Or are you waiting a century for specifically Bella? Like, I don't know. There's still some ambiguity. Like, is Bella like the person for Edward, and why is she the person for Edward? That was an interesting comment he made. Here's something I wrote. Edward, ... He is so self-righteous. He used to hunt and kill murderers. Does he think he is above everyone else? He thinks he's totally right about everything. Totally convinced he is right for Bella. There's a pattern here.
Oh my god. There's a pattern.
I think it's healthy to show some flaws in Edward.
Healthy for
yeah,
who?
I mean, you gotta be balanced here. And when
Amanda's
probably gonna come on like she did in the last episode and give her 2 cents about everything.
Yeah.
She likes to keep things balanced. And yeah, no, Edward totally has his flaws. You know, obviously he knocks up Bella, which totally like, I mean, okay. It seems like nobody knew that was possible, that he could impregnate her. But during that moment, I was like, dang it, Jacob was kind of right. Like, you actually could have, he's actually almost like leading you to death.
Yeah.
Based on this lifestyle.
He did.
What'd you say?
I said, what if Jacob knew that all along? He's like, you don't wear a condom?
Yeah.
I still think, like, I don't know. Edward probably should have worn a condom anyway, but
I know. He's so overprotective.
I know, that was unlike him. But this is central to the story.
It was
Probably broke if he wore one.
Yeah, I know. I doubt it would be strong enough.
Venom.
Maybe she should have gone on birth control.
I guess, they didn't know that it was going to happen. Even Iro thought it was impossible. Like the pinnacle of knowledge, and Carlisle thought it was impossible. So it's sort of forgivable in that sense. But at the same time, it would have been totally avoided had they not gotten together. Next bullet I said, set designers did an incredible job for the wedding scene. Probably a dream wedding for a lot of people. I would even love that. Iron and wine playing during wedding was incredibly cheesy, but perfect for the emotional fan base. Kissing was ... a lot. When they were kissing at the wedding, that was like an extent. That would be inappropriate.
I'd be so embarrassed.
It was inappropriate.
Because they were making out. It's not. You may now kiss the bride.
Isn't a wedding
French kiss?
It's just a peck, right? A wedding kiss?
Or just a small kiss. It's they were making out, you know.
You don't open your mouth for a wedding kiss.
No.
It's disgusting.
Oh yeah. Jacob late for wedding? ? Nah, he flaked that ceremony on purpose. He doesn't care about her happiness as much as he just wants her, it seems. How immature. Wedding speeches were funny. Comic relief was nice. Hadn't had much of that in a while. Bella, ... I don't know what all these unnecessary ... are about, but I'm going to keep saying them out loud for you. Bella ... just, and then in all caps, just seems destined to be a vampire. I can't picture her being happier as a mortal. I think she'd be forever dreaming of the vampire life. She has a natural magnetism towards it.
I agree.
We talked about these ones. Oh, I can't blame Edward in being so crazy over a girl. He has been waiting over 100 years to fuck someone and finally has the chance. Where Jacob has only been waiting 18 years. Like, get in line, Jacob.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
true.
if you live another 5 lives, you can get in line.
Yeah, and Jacob could just go find someone else.
I know, geez. But supposedly his purpose in life was to imprint on Renesmee.
And now Jacob's going to have to wait longer.
There better not. I mean, do you guys know I don't know if there's like canon that's like been written out, like, they don't end up getting together, do they?
I mean, technically we don't know.
Yeah. I hope
not.
But it seems assumed.
No, I don't. I really don't think Jacob would do that. I don't think that would happen.
That they would like be together romantically and sexually?
Yeah, I don't think that they would.
Not. Yeah.
Well, what about that flash forward vision that Alice has in part 2 where they're like together?
But they're not like, they are.
Wait, what do they do? They just hug or something?
Well, she has her shoulder on her head on Jacob's shoulder. That could be friendly, though.
I guess that could be anything. That could.
Oh, God. Let's hope that was just anything.
I know.
Let's hope
Some
to
people,
God.
you know what, Dan, though? Some people love Jacob and Renesmee together and, like, make edits of them and really want, like, their own spin-off of just Jacob and Renesmee.
That's weird. So, nah, I don't like that. I mean, there's the age gap with Edward and Bella, but obviously, like, Edward's been frozen at this same age throughout his life, et cetera, et cetera. And again, we had this talk in our first episode. Like, Edward's not going to go date 99-year-olds at the nursing center. That would probably look way weirder.
Yeah.
What is weird to me is how, you know, Jacob is watching this girl grow up from being a baby. That is fucked.
And she's growing up really fast. So once she's full grown, she's still only really going to have been alive on the planet for like 5 years. So
yeah, fucked up.
It is fucked up. I appreciate your optimism that that it isn't romantic. Like it totally changes the whole thing if you see it that way.
It's really good writing though, because like Jacob imprinting on Renesmee like literally saves the day.
Yeah.
It does.
The werewolf clans end up, you know, not having to like battle and like kill the baby, etc. Like it sort of saves the day and he bridges the gap between the two families. But then there's that, you know, there's that silver lining.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm gonna, just for my own sanity, be optimistic.
Yeah. I
but
hope
it's probably not the case.
Stephanie Meyer, like, since it was never really explicitly, especially in the books, I don't think, if she ever did continue it, I feel like they would be together, but she could have changed her mind by now and say, like, actually, no, it's just as friends or just as brother and sister.
What I don't get, like, so Jacob's, like, sort of not a member of the Cullen family, but, like, he's, like, close with them and he spends a lot of time with them now that Renesmee's around. Like, no way would Edward and Bella, like, let him start, like, romantically involving himself with their daughter. That would never happen.
I
with
don't
them
know.
so close by.
Yeah.
That'd be so fucked up.
I know. Especially since Edward can hear Jacob's thoughts. So
can you imagine, like, Edward couldn't stand Jacob and then later in life for him to be like fucking his daughter? That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Like, you used to be after my wife and now you're after my daughter.
You creepy cretin of a guy. No, see, this is a good thing about Twilight, how like ambiguous and open-ended some of it is. Like the fact that we're having this discourse about it, that's a sign of good writing, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I love having this podcast, because we could go on and on forever talking about this stuff.
That's true, actually. You can talk about it for forever. It's
like again, like I think that there's a really cool story at the core of this saga. I do, and I think a lot of people won't see it because they're so taken aback by some of the cheesy moments and some of the scenes that weren't executed well, like, you know, like the scene with the werewolves or the scene with the veins, which, like, what the fuck? Why? That is not. It doesn't match. It doesn't match the rest of the vibe of how it was directed at all. Like, all of a sudden becomes this weird science fiction, like animated. Like, I don't know who gave the green light on that. That was a huge mistake.
I totally agree. It doesn't match the vibe at all. Oh, it's like Osmosis Jones.
Yes, that was actually what I was thinking. That was exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Like, let's go into the body. No! I also hate stuff like that. I hate animations of, like, blood cells, so.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary.
Oh, here's the chess bullet that I said was, Bella makes the most idiotic chess move. I think she was bored and wanted Jacob to win. Probs wanted to go shag.
You mean Edward?
Edward, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely good attention to detail, Dan.
Yeah, well, this was the second time I was watching it, but weirdly, like,
well, we've watched it like 100 times.
Yeah.
Weirdly, when I was watching the fifth one, I legit forgot that whole battle was like just like imagery and like imagined. Like I was like, oh my god, no, not Carla, Marcus, no. Oh, it's so funny.
It got you again.
Funny. So you know how Marcus obviously you know this, when he says finally, when he gets his like arms ripped off and he dies, etc. Like, so Aro is seeing this whole scene play out because it's being communicated to his mind. And Marcus is like Aro's right-hand dude, like they're bros, like they're the head of the Volturi.
Yeah.
It must have been so embarrassing for Aro to realize that Marcus literally wants to kill himself.
Oh, no!
Marcus, this is another reason why I love this dude so much. Like he's like so depressed and he clearly just like hates existence. He's like, finally I'm fucking dead. I don't have to live with this snake ass bitch Aro anymore.
Finally I'm dead. Yeah.
I love that part.
That's a good point.
Like if I was Marcus, I'd be like, oh god, like I'm not gonna talk to this guy for a while. I can explain.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that Marcus has seen that. I mean, he doesn't know that Aro's seen that.
I guess he doesn't know it, yeah.
Aro
but like their relationship is gonna get weird. It's gonna get weird after that moment.
I bet Aro touches their hands all the time. It sounds so weird, but I bet he checks in on them, like, how are you doing? And like touches them and reads all their thoughts. He must know Marcus hates his life. And it's just
maybe that's why Marcus is so quiet all the time, because he just wants to ignore all this drama and bullshit. He's like, I'm just gonna shut up and stand here.
I wonder if Aro knows.
He's still my favorite character.
And is just like such a sicko that he's happy about it or something. Like, oh, Marcus hates his life, but I don't care.
I wonder how often Aro touches them.
I don't know. He seems like
that
it seems like he.
I know.
I wonder how often Aro touches them. Guys, wait, I'm so sorry. Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, sure.
I am so distracted by how much I have to go to the bathroom.
No.
I'll be right back.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Yo, back.
Welcome back to another bite of Twilight.
What episode number is this?
Oh, I don't even know. It might be 60.
It's pretty high. Yeah, we don't know.
Episode 60, Another Bite of Twilight.
I was listening to this whole soundtrack.
Oh, I was thinking about that movie a lot.
Oh, it's 59.
50.
Episode 59.
Wow, that's a lot of episodes.
I know.
How?
Fuck.
What the fuck?
Now, Dan, so the pregnancy.
That is where we left off.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, like I said earlier, I definitely think Carlisle was written as a doctor to accommodate for that, piece of the plot, because it wouldn't have worked any other way. Mm-hmm. Here's what I was thinking. My first bullet on the pregnancy. So Carlisle has these like these O negative blood packets to feed Bella. And I think I said this the first time we watched the movie together, Mel, but like, okay. So she's got to drink this blood, and she ends up like liking the flavor per se. Because she's got the vampire body, and it just feels right. But couldn't they have like mixed it into a smoothie or like put it in like something else? Like they didn't even think of that to like drink this blood from a straw.
You should just drink it straight.
I know.
Yeah, like it would have been so easy. Like, I got some frozen fruit in the freezer. Like we can whip up a smoothie really quick.
And I have never drank blood to that extent. Like I've obviously like maybe had blood in my mouth and like tasted it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's very thick. Like I think of it like probably
it's
syrup, right?
Gotta be, yeah. Oh, you know what else pissed me off? Okay, well I guess it's more of a question. Okay, so I see Edward taking the blood packet that she has, they squirt it into the bottle and she drinks it in the straw and then he throws it in the trash. But there's like a lot of like blood like stuck to the sides. They're all starving, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do they not open it up and like lick it clean because if they drank human blood they would start to go insane? Or do they not do it at all because they're just being stupid and they don't realize they could do that? Like what would happen if the Cullens drank human blood? Would they be like, oh my god?
I don't. Yeah, like at
they
least,
might.
Yeah, that might trigger them to then drink Bella's blood.
Because when Renesmee was born, she's covered in blood and shit, but nobody like licked her clean. That was a lot of blood that those starving vampires could have
At least could have like licked her skin.
It's almost like they're just hardcore committed to being vegetarians or
That's
vegan.
why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is why I like and I respect the Cullens so much. I don't know. They have such values. They adhere to them. They're very honorable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When Carlisle supposedly died in that battle scene, oh my, I was pissed. I was like, he's like my favorite character besides Marcus.
I know.
It gutted me.
Oh my god, we were losing our minds.
Oh, wait, because when you were watching that in theaters, did you know that it was going to be filmed that way, or did you think
they
Carlisle
totally
died?
added that? Like that wasn't in the books.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought it was great. They did a great job on that scene. They did a great job. That must have throttled every person who saw that. Besides,
I remember we were like hugging each other.
Like, no. It's crazy. Like I actually watched that movie recently, and I kind of forgot how many of the Cullens died in that. I was like, "Jeez, they really." I mean, it wasn't real,
Jasper
but they
died too.
Yeah, and doesn't Esme?
I don't think Esme dies.
He does die.
Esme?
I think she does.
No?
She falls down the crack. I think.
Maybe not. Maybe no. She
Leah
gets
does.
saved. She gets saved. She's about to die.
Leah and Seth both
Does
die.
Emmett die? Is it just Jasper and Carlisle?
I think it's just Jasper and Carlisle, but many of the wolves die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leah and Seth.
No, but that was
what the
that
fuck?
was just that was good cinema. Like that was just I don't like it was tropish, but like that was like such a gutting moment. It was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so back to like the pregnancy and everything. Yeah, they should have been licking those blood packets. They should have been licking the baby. They should have been licking up the floor.
Imagine them licking the baby clean.
Imagine being Belle like, what the fuck?
It's a little wasteful.
That's a bullet. The makeup artist did a wicked good job on Bella when she was pregnant. Like she looks so like her cheekbones are so sunken in, and like how do they do that?
A lot of that was CGI.
It was CGI.
Mm-hmm.
That worked. That was a trend. Like that worked.
It was disgusting, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
How she was all dried up and shriveled. I don't know. Like Twilight either does a really good job on CGI or does a glaringly horrific job at CGI. If you got rid of those scenes that we were talking about earlier, the Amanda's telling me like the baby. It would be elevated, but the baby is a big CGI issue.
I know.
And I gotta ask you this. Okay, so it appears that the baby's body is a real baby's body, and then they CGI a face onto it.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like shit. Number one, it looks like ass. The second thing,
it looks like ass.
Does Renesmee have teeth because she's like, advancing so fast, growing? Or does she have teeth because they were just idiotic and gave an infant teeth?
I think she's advanced so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's in the book that like she already has a set of teeth or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Because she's got the hair, she's got the teeth.
I wonder if
you can tell like she sort of has like an awareness of things that are going on around her. But like, oh my god, like again, a little tiny thing that drags down this movie makes it laughable, and I'm sure a lot of people are like, this is so dumb.
I almost feel like the really, really good CGI moments could have made it a serious contender for an Academy Award for special effects.
But the bad ones
just ruined it. They made some complete fumbles.
They were almost like a little too ambitious or something. Mm-hmm. Like I don't really know what
they should just use a real baby, just a pair of siblings.
Oh,
I'm sure there's like 4 sisters that are all those age marks that look alike and look like what Renesmee could be. I mean, there's a million people in the world.
There are just a few things about Twilight that do frustrate me so much. It's like, this could have been perfect, but you fucked it up. It's like a common thing people say about like the last season of Game of Thrones or whatever. It's like, this could have been, I mean, that's way different, but this could have been great. And what happened? Like, ugh.
Yeah, I think they also probably spent so much money on the CGI for Renesmee, and
it wasn't working.
It wasn't working, but they had already spent like millions and millions of dollars on it, so they were too cocky and confident. and nervous to just scrap it, so they just went with it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When did 4 come out? Like 2010 or something, or 11 or 12?
2011.
They should have been able to. Oh my gosh, that was shit for 2011. Like they could have had better CGI in the 90s than that.
I know.
I don't know what.
why.
Like what a. They fucked up. Oh my god.
No.
I was disappointed. I hate the name Renesmee. That's bullshit. That's just dumb. I don't know what you guys.
People online have started calling her Resume.
Resume.
Oh, you know what is horrible? The
What?
Nessie thing.
Oh,
Calling her Nessie.
You nicknamed my daughter the Loch Ness Monster?
I think seeing Bella like amped during those scenes, like after she is converted, like at the beginning of 5 and the end of 4, is like, I love that.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's not until the beginning of 5, right? Because at the end is when her eyes, like, of 4 is when her eyes flick open. That's the very end, right?
Yeah.
Cool ending. Thought that was a badass ending. Her eyes are red.
Yeah, I like that
ending.
Wait, so you, as someone who hasn't read the books, were you confused or like, it's hard for me to know because we read the books before, but like, what did you think about CGI Renesmee? Were you confused about like why she even was CGI, or did you get it? Like, you know what I mean? What?
It took me a second. Like when I saw the teeth, I'm like, why does this baby have teeth? And then I realized they kind of sort of had to have the baby look like a baby, but like a super developed baby. So it sort of made sense why they had to CGI it to get the teeth and to get the, you know, the sort of awareness and the eye contact.
Yeah.
But they just did a bad job.
Yeah.
I think they could have just skipped that.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary. What if they put makeup on a baby?
Would it have been so bad if she was like sleeping or whatever? I don't know. If she was just acting like a normal baby, I don't think it would have been so bad.
I know. And then they could have just skipped to when she's like a kid. I don't know.
Right, I feel like
my first reaction was like, why didn't they just use a baby? Like,
yeah. They could have done some camera work to make it look like she bit her or something. Like,
yeah,
just very subtle ways to show that she was abnormal, but without making us have to suspend our disbelief so much.
Oh God.
One thing I liked about the end of 4 was, you know, how Edward's, you know, bites on Bella throughout her body. That's what brings her back. I think that's cool that he finally, you know, gets to bite her. And then, you know, ushers her into this new life by saving her life at the same time. It's kind of poetic, etc. It's like good writing and all. But I think the way it was shot was like stretched out over time so much that it was almost like unrealistic. Because she was like lying, he was like pounding on her chest for what seemed like an hour. And it's like just her dead body. Everyone's outside crying over her. Jake Edward's just like,
You're not dead. I know.
Yeah, that was a dummy.
Dead.
That was actually a dummy.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
That's wicked funny.
Dan, have you seen the movie Soul yet? The Pixar.
Say that again. Soul, did you say?
Yeah, the new Pixar.
I just watched it like on the 26th.
Oh we just watched it too.
Yeah, we watched it yesterday.
Wicked good.
I know this has nothing. It was so good. I know it has nothing to do with Breaking Dawn, but isn't it weird how that guy? What was his name? The main character? I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah,
but he just doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. Like he just jumps back into Earth and goes back into his body. But it's like,
why doesn't everybody feel that way?
Yeah. Why doesn't everyone do that? And 2,
you know who wouldn't do that? Marcus.
Yeah. Was his body really okay enough for him to just decide that? Like, actually, my body's fine. Like, it just reminded me of this because it's like Bella seemed clearly dead, but somehow was able to just keep going. Like, I don't know how that happened, but.
Edward, like, willed her into living. It was Edward that, you know?
Yeah. But also, it's like her little soul. Her little soul just like jumped back.
Yeah. Yeah. What if we had a Pixar movie of Bella's soul going to the beyond?
She was watching through the little circle and she could see that Edward was like, you're not dead. You're not dead. And she's like, okay. And then she jumps back in.
She had a whole journey with someone else up there. That's the...
Yeah, but she forgets.
Yeah.
Good for Pixar for getting so like philosophical and spiritual recently,
Yeah.
like with Coco. When Coco came out a few years ago, like dealing with like
I
the
haven't seen
afterlife,
Coco.
Oh,
and it's amazing. And Soul dealing with like heaven and
and
dying, and
Inside
like
Out.
that
Yeah.
shit wouldn't have happened when we were kids with
I
Pixar. It's
know.
like,
Yeah.
you know, superheroes
Inside
and
Out.
fishing toys
I
and
know.
Monsters Inc. Which I love. Monsters Inc. is my fucking favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
every Pixar movie. I love almost all of them. But like props to Pixar for like somehow continuing to outdo themselves every time
True.
and getting so, I don't know, metaphysical with how they're approaching
Yeah.
animation.
I
I need to
actually
watch
decided
Coco.
when I was driving to your house today, Dan, that my resolution for this year is to watch one Pixar movie a week, and then at the end decide to rank them.
Wow.
I was
Rewatch.
gonna rank
Can
them.
I join you?
During
Yeah, do
quarantine,
it.
I watched all the ones that I hadn't seen yet. I think there were like 5 I hadn't seen yet. I should make that ranking. I meant to do it. Um, me and Mel, fun fact for your fans, me and Mel, probably circa 2009, started a widely successful Facebook page
Yes.
for one of the characters, a fan page for one of the obscure characters from Monsters Inc.
Which
That
one?
was back in the day when
Ricky.
people would roguely create Facebook pages for
Yeah.
absolutely everything.
It was not
So-
successful. I think I had like 20 likes.
Wait,
I was being sarcastic.
who's Ricky?
Ricky is one of the most minor possible characters who works in the plant, and like they mentioned his name in passing once, and he says like hello or something.
Yeah.
And we made a fan page, and I think we ended up getting like 15 likes, and then Facebook shut down our page after a while.
No, I still have it. I'm still the owner of
What?
I'm pretty sure I'm still the owner of Ricky from Monsters Inc. So I'll promote it.
That's so funny.
After this
Can you
episode
send me a
comes out.
screenshot later? Because
I
I
wanna
want to
see
see
it.
that. That's
Yeah, I don't think we really kept up with it.
I miss those days of Facebook
no.
times, like so innocent.
Yeah.
Oh, so I've decided next time the Twilight Fest thing happens,
Mhm.
me and Amanda are definitely gonna go.
You want to go?
We're gonna go.
No
my God.
way.
Sick.
And I'm gonna
It's not a question. Okay, I'm just joining right now.
Ah,
It's so cool. It would be so cool.
I
Even
could
if
meet
we
Marcus.
haven't
Oh
thought
my
about
God.
Twilight in 10 years, it is so cool.
Also, I have
love
not been to
it.
Washington.
okay, now
Also,
I
I
really
wanna-
want to go.
Mhm.
I could have my own booth, meet Dan from Another Bite of Twilight, signing autographs. I could charge $35 for an autograph. It'd be great.
We should go.
We should. No, you guys would love it. That area, Dan.
It's so beautiful.
You guys would be obsessed.
like
No,
the Olympic National
I've never been,
Rainforest,
but
like it's amazing.
We would love
Also,
to go to Portland and drive up there. Would you guys want to do that?
Amanda and I are also we sort of like got semi obsessed with the show Twin Peaks recently. I don't know if you've
I
ever
love
seen
Twin
that.
Peaks.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Good.
one of
That
my
also
favorite
takes place in
shows.
Washington. And,
Yeah,
like, there's so many sites from that show that I would also want to see if we were to go to Washington. So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's when you're there, it feels like you're literally in Twin Peaks / Twilight. Like it's crazy.
Have you guys been to Portland, Oregon?
no, Amanda has, but I've not ever been to Washington or Oregon. That top left corner of the country, I've never been.
Yeah,
Oh my God, we should go and go to Portland and drive up to Washington.
because I mean we've been to Seattle, so
Yeah.
we're being selfish here. But yeah,
I have a list of like 10 places I want to go to in Oregon and Washington.
Mm.
There's the last
Yeah.
blockbuster in America is in Oregon. I have to go there.
yeah, I saw that little like documentary about that. The last blockbuster.
Dan
Yeah.
is
And
so.
they have a-
I've never traveled with you, but you're so good at organizing a trip.
oh my god, I love organizing.
Cool. I hope. Okay, now I really want to go
Me
again.
too.
If you guys are going to, yeah.
We gotta go.
Oh wait, no, I would assume you guys would be going to like every one. Do you not go to every one?
Well,
We've
we've
only
only
been
been once. We
once.
were gonna go this year, and in fact, like we kind of partnered with them. Like we were promoting it, but then it got canceled because of COVID.
Mm.
So it was such a bummer. Kind of
Well-
sucks. We like had all.
Yeah.
We talked it up all the time, and it didn't even happen.
Didn't happen. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, it would just be so fun. Like I don't consider myself to be like a Twilight fanboy, but I now feel like a connection to the series after doing these episodes with you guys,
I think you would love the festival so much. Like, their attention to detail is so unbelievable. Just the way that they decorate for the parties and everything.
It's really just, it's so cool. It's like parties.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight
and
theme.
people
like
the actors show up. Like some of the actors.
Yeah.
Right?
Like some years are kind of better than others, I guess you could say, but that sounds mean, but like like every year they do get people. This year was gonna have Charlie.
That would have been so
Isn't that
crazy?
crazy?
So now he's going next year. All is well in the world.
Amanda's going, we're going.
We're going. It's so fun. And the whole area too, like, you'll do the festival, but then just seeing all the nature and stuff, it's like incredible.
It like takes your breath away.
And good coffee.
Well, I don't drink coffee, but
I had a question for you, actually. What do you think about the honeymoon, the setting? Like, how did you feel about that?
So they go to Brazil first, right?
Yeah, they go to Brazil, and then it's like an island off of Brazil.
Like a made-up island.
Oh, yeah. And they find there's like the native woman who, detects the fact that Edward is, vampire. I'm sure there's some sort of significance of that location that I'm missing out on. I don't, like, it seems kind of random. I don't know. Like, it seems totally random.
My boyfriend, Charlie is his name actually, watched that recently for the first time, and he said this, and I have always kind of felt this way, that like he didn't really like the setting of the honeymoon because it felt so not part of the series. Like, the series is so woodsy and stuff, and that was like, what is this? But at the same time, it's like, well, would they really go on a honeymoon in a woodsy place? Yeah. Probably
Jacob
not.
Would bring her on a honeymoon. Jacob would bring her on a woodsy honeymoon.
Yeah.
Amanda's going, no.
Yeah. So I get why
they went. Edward has a shit ton of money. Obviously, like the Cullens, like this dynasty. Like, why not bring her somewhere totally insane? I don't know. Like, Jacob couldn't do that. Jacob's probably poor.
Like, I also think like Edward can't be in the sun, so this is kind of the one time that they can take an extended period of time and be in the sun and be private.
Yeah, it's a private island.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, it makes total sense, but it does kind of, in a way, bum me out a little bit because it just doesn't feel like Twilight, quote.
But I think it could feel like Twilight if it was shot in a different way. I think a lot of it,
true.
too, is just the way that they shot it, the music that's playing.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it.
They could have made it have the vibes.
Especially with maybe even the set design. They could have designed the house to be more like Twilight.
True. Okay.
Oh,
wait. What were you going to say?
When you say the house, do you mean the Cullens' house or the like cottage that
the cottage? Oh, no, not the cottage. The vacation house.
Oh, the vacation. Okay, question about that cottage. How did they build that? How did they wire that with electricity? Was that always there? What's that? Do you guys know? Like, is it explained? Because it seems like they erected this ornate cottage 2 days and somehow got electricity and plumbing.
Yeah, you are right. My question is, like, do they have to pay taxes on it?
Where's the electricity coming from?
They have their own generator, probably. I don't know. But no, you are totally right. I think they did literally build it in like 2 days.
I guess they get like super speed, etc., and they're probably like masters at like crafting and building and everything because they've been around for so long. It was just like that house is like there. Also, it looked like it was old. It looked like the house was weathered.
I know.
It had been there for like.
You know what's crazy though, which I didn't realize until watching the movie this month, is they build this cottage, they have this new house, then there's a scene like literally right after that where they say they're gonna leave Forks. Jacob's like, what? You can't leave. And like, we have to. Like, wait, you just built this house. Like, you're only gonna live here for what, a couple weeks? Yeah. It's like crazy.
I guess if they can build it in 2 days, it doesn't even matter. I
also wonder, and I think they do in the past do this, but like Bella and Edward, I guess they're newlyweds, but aren't the other couples like, hey, we want our own house too?
Yeah, I know. Why do they get
Oh,
to
I know. What the hell? I guess it's because they're newlyweds. Like maybe
Yeah.
when they, I don't know, when Jasper and Alice who were together?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when they, originally got together, they had their own little summer cottage built for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
I don't know.
My bullet for that just says, "How did the house get ... built?"
Built.
We have to include ... in our episode title.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I have a bullet right after that says, "Do I have a crush on Alice?" ?
Ooh. Well,
Whoa.
Amanda, your girlfriend, her hair is cut like Alice right now.
I don't know I don't even know why I wrote that or what maybe it's because she built the house in 2 days. That's pretty hot.
That's cute.
He was the one who
cool.
picked out Bella's wardrobe for her and had her clothes already and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Try
she
to
knows
psychoanalyze
what she likes, she's a girl that knows what she likes and goes after it, and she's in command like that. And
yeah, I also think Amanda looks like Alice right now. That might be it.
She's gone.
She's gone.
Okay, so at the beginning of 5, I think it's so cool when you get to see Bella like trying out her new powers and like running around and hunting. That's kind of a cool, it's just kind of a fun, cool thing to watch. And I like seeing Jacob sort of being a part of the Cullen gang. I think that's really cool. I think that's like closure. And then the story, the movie sort of takes this turn where it's just like focusing on all these random ass vampires you never heard of all around the world. You got the Rami Malek coming in from Egypt, and you get all these freaking people coming in. And that's when I don't lose interest, but I'm like, I feel less connected to the narrative.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't
like any of the random vampires.
It's just not as fun, I guess. What I did, this is like this might just be the stupidest thing I've ever written, but I said that all the members of the vampire families coming to see Renesmee is like almost like a twisted allegory for like the wise men coming to see Jesus when Jesus was born.
Oh my god, that's not stupid at all.
Dan, you could write your dissertation on this.
Yeah,
it's written by a religious person, and maybe there is something behind that, but I do think that most of the story arcs in Twilight are, references to literary things, and there's sort of like crap.
Yeah.
And that jumped out at me, because she is like this impossible, baby that was born in a way that Jesus was seen as like a savior in a way to speak in like, and they come from around the world to see it and to, almost like, how like a bunch of people when Jesus was growing up had to like, they were doubting him. And they went up to him and like he had to prove himself. It's almost like they're going to check in.
Yeah.
Baby?
That's
like
not
a Jesus thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That makes Bella, Mary, and Edward, Joseph. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, and
Edward's God.
And they didn't
Carlisle
think
is
it
God.
was possible for them to have a child. It is very like that, actually.
It's like Virgin Mary vibes.
Oh my God.
It's possible for her to have the child, just like the Virgin Mary.
Yeah. Dude.
I bet.
And the fact that, like, Renesmee, like you said, brings peace between the Cullens and werewolves and Volturi. Literally between all three enemies.
Bridges. Yeah. Bridges multiple.
Oh my God. And I thought of something else.
What?
Because you know how, like, Jesus's, like, teen years and stuff are just, like, passed over?
In the Bible.
Yeah. So in the series too, it's like she's a baby, and then we see her as a kid a little bit, but then I guess in the future, then she's just grown right away. Like,
oh my God,
we don't have any of that.
Also, whoa! Brain blast reference. This theory is definitely legit because Jesus was always thought of as half man, half immortal.
Yeah.
What did they say Renesmee was?
People are very confused. Yeah, about like what is Jesus? Oh my God.
Oh my God. We just solved something.
Renesmee is Jesus.
Yeah.
Is this
literally?
Is this hold water? Is this sort of legit?
It's a theory.
She says it's a theory.
I wonder if anyone out there has talked about this. Probably, yeah. No, maybe not. Maybe we're the first ones.
Yeah.
That was
I
my
like
big
that.
thing.
They should have given her a J name because then it would be JC, her initials.
Oh my god, that would have been like proven.
Yeah.
Theory proven.
What's her middle name again? Oh, Carly. Yeah.
Is it Carly after Carlisle?
Yeah. Because it's like.
Does everyone just genuinely rally around how cool Carlisle is? I feel like he is just universally like lovable.
Yeah, no, he's a beloved character. I love Carlisle. Mel is like kind of lukewarm to him.
Yeah, he's such a boring to me.
Oh my god. But I don't know, I just see him as he started this whole movement all by himself and is changing the way a whole race of, not people, vampires exist. I don't know, I just see him as a hero to vampires.
I do think if there is a spin-off, I want the spin-off to be a prequel and it's all about Carlisle.
Yep. That would be really cool because to see him starting off and meeting the first few people that he started his family with.
Yeah.
Renesmee would be dope.
It would be dope.
And then I guess we arrive at the scene when they're gathered in that snowy field at the end of and obviously everyone's interest watching this movie is re-peaked at that moment because everyone's all meeting together. It's just this balance. I still believe that the guy who plays Arrow, I don't know how you pronounce it, he is a great actor, and I think he is perfect for the role. I think in general the acting in Twilight is mostly pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, Bella for being this like I don't know how to describe her, but she's perfect at being Bella, and Edward is perfect at being Edward, and Jacob is perfect at being Jacob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Arrow stands out to me as probably the most memorable acting amongst the non-central characters. I think he is like this ridiculous, like creepy. I think in the first episode I was in, I described him as like this like snaky sort of dude. Yeah. I'm hooked by him. He's like entrances me. But I hate his guts, and I'm sad that the leader, of the gang, the leader of the vampire world, has just shitty morals. He's like he's an asshole, I think. And it's just
the way life is, though.
It was definitely written that way. Like like the president or the leader or the emperor is this corrupt, selfish dude. Like I was saying earlier, when I watched that scene when they were in the field, I completely forgot that it was like imagined, and I started writing everything. Like I wrote R.I.P. Carlisle, R.I.P. Casper. I wrote fuck the Volturi. Oh, I also wrote this. Okay, so all the vampires in the world are together, right? And they're all pissy. And they're all like charged with like negative energy, and they get the werewolves there, and there's like these threatening, undertones. It's like, okay, we got the whole family together, family reunion opportunity. Everyone just arrives in the pieces. Like, let's order some pizza. Let's rent out the nearest Knights of Columbus. Let's have a family reunion.
Knights of Columbus.
This missed opportunity.
They don't do any fun celebrations, really.
I know. I think I said that to you. Like, it's weird that when the battle doesn't happen, they're all just like, bye.
Bye, yeah. Like,
they got the whole gang together. They're from all over the world.
And how often does that happen?
Never.
Never. They should have party. They should have shown a party.
A party would have made sense. Yeah. It's just a vampire party. That probably is sick.
I know.
Oh my god. That's what I'm saying. Missed opportunity.
They don't really.
Oh gosh.
Especially since they travel them all over. Like, they're just there to do nothing.
Yeah. It's weird.
I know. Okay, so it seems weird that we already like arrived at the end of the fifth movie, but do you have any questions about the fifth movie for me?
Well,
or just questions in general about the whole thingy?
Well, I think you've kind of alluded to this, but how would you rank all the movies that you've seen now?
It would be okay. Like I'll rank them, but I think it would be very different if certain pieces of the movie were handled differently. Like if 4 didn't have the veins, and is 4 the one with the werewolves yelling at each other? Is that that's also 4?
Yeah.
Also the birth scene is also shot very like strangely. Like some of the effects they use.
You can tell they were inspired by just like horror films.
Yeah, it didn't fit the bill. But if those variables were like corrected, I would really, really like 4. I think the first one's still probably my favorite. The third one might be towards the bottom of the heap.
I remember you hated Eclipse when you first watched it, or not hated it, but it was your least favorite.
No, I didn't hate it. The fourth one I also didn't like so much. I mean, the third and fourth have so much like romance in them too. The fifth one, it has like its boring moments.
You're kind of sleeping on New Moon here.
No, I think 1 and 2 probably my favorites still, and I think that I think 4, if 3 and 4, if the romance was toned back, and if in 4, and if those weird scenes were taken out, they would move up a rung or 2 over number 2. And I think I just have to put 5 at the bottom because of it's just not as entrancing as the other ones. Though it's a more well done movie than 3 and 4. So 5, maybe it earns a slot as my third favorite without being the most interesting, just because it's a better movie.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put 1 and 2 at the top. I'll settle with that.
I agree. Well,
so now, if you don't have other questions, we'll ask away if you do. But Amanda's like on the edge of her seat. She wants to weigh in.
Let's get it on. I'm ready.
And you just
well, I did want to ask, like, I feel like we kind of skipped over a lot in 5. Which is okay, but
no, it's not.
Maybe
You're
I'll
right.
maybe first question about that is just like, why do you think that is, that you didn't have much to say about 5?
I think because of there's not a centrality around Bella as much. I mean, Twilight is Bella, really. It is.
It is.
You take Renesmee is the center of attention. All these vampires around the world and coming to Renesmee. That is the center of 5. And Twilight fans, like they care about the lore and they care about the canon, and the 5th one is definitely about that. But people really care the most about Bella and Edward, Bella and Jacob, Bella. And you see the least of that in 5, which is probably why it's the least exciting. Although there's some great parts in 5 that I thought were really fun. Like I loved the ending.
Yeah.
And I thought Twilight wrapped up itself nicely. A lot of movies, I wasn't expecting Twilight to wrap itself up as succinctly as it did.
Yeah.
It did a good job.
It's true.
What about the montage that
the credits at the end, you mean? Or
the montage when she says, like, I want to show you something, and then she's able to use her shield power to show Edward her memories of him.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I liked that.
And then what I think is great about the last movie is the credits. Like it shows all the characters. They like all get their moment in black and white.
Oh, it made me cry.
It's so emotional.
The first time when we watched it with you, Mel, we watched the full credits, but this time I did not. So I forgot about that. But I remember liking that detail.
Yeah.
Are there any of all those kind of random vampires that join in? Did you like any of them? Did any of them interest you, or no?
So I'll tell you who I didn't like were the ones with the Russian accents. It was like that really.
I like them actually. I also just love Russia, but they think they're Romanian.
Amanda's saying Romanian, Transylvanian. Yeah, I don't know. They were just so cocky to me. A lot of them were really cocky.
Yeah.
Like most of the vampires were really, really
That's
cocky.
True. There were a lot of cocky vampires.
I kind of like the Denali game. Obviously, besides the Tattletale. I like be a bitch.
Yeah, she is a tattletale.
She gets what she deserves.
But the rest of the Denali gang, they seem pretty cool. They seem more Cullen-like besides her. Like, they seem chill.
They're chill.
Yeah.
They're chill.
They have
And I think it's so cool that they have, I mean, because vampires don't care about the cold, so why don't all vampires live in super, super cold, regions of the earth like that?
Sure, yeah, I know. It's so beautiful. That's a good
You
point.
take advantage of it. Go live in Siberia. Go live in Antarctica. Like, that'd be
Antarctica.
Yeah.
I'm sure some do.
Yeah.
Drink like
So you don't have to worry about being seen. Just eat penguins all day. Live the life.
True.
Oh, poor penguins.
But I think that's all I had for questions.
That's all I have too.
If Amanda's ready to jump in and
Amanda, come on down.
I'm gonna debunk a lot of the things Dan might have said.
Hey.
Yeah, hey.
So were you making notes while Dan was talking?
Yeah, I was making little notes. Yeah, hi, I'm Amanda. So first off, I do agree right away. The third one, I think at one point was my favorite book. The movie is just disappointing. It was fast-paced, way too bright. And I do agree there was a lot of dialogue. It should have been longer. We did not watch the extended edition. We were watching all of the regular, small ones, I guess.
Yeah.
You'd say. But I am so glad they separated the last two because it just adds so much. It's so nice.
It would be a weird movie, I think, if it was like, if I don't know, if they had the wedding and then the pregnancy and then they invite all these vampires over and they have a fight. There would be a lot in one movie.
And when you guys were talking about product placement, Dan was mentioning that to me when we were watching it. He's like, Mariners, that's product placement. I was like, yeah, but they live there. It makes sense that it would be there. And I think that whether or not this is true, it adds kind of reality to the situation. I think that's just what they were going for.
Yeah. I'm just thankful there's no Burger King in it because Burger King was like the biggest sponsor.
Really?
Oh my god,
random.
Burger King.
That would be horrible.
That would take me out.
Yeah, I do think like when things are set in Massachusetts, for instance, people usually have like Red Sox hats. So I don't think it's weird that they have the Mariners.
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole Riley thing. So I remember seeing the movie when it first came out, and I don't think I read the book in a while. And literally the first scene is this whole Riley thing. I'm like, what is going on? Who is this? What am I in the right movie?
Yeah.
Like I didn't like it.
I remember that too, actually.
I think they did that on purpose. I know. I remember that too. Like, oh,
anyway,
this is Twilight. It's not. Wait, yes, it is.
Yeah, Amanda, you just like took me back to a memory I completely forgot. I was like panicking inside that I was in the wrong movie.
Me too. I was like, is this bad? Like, I was just kind of disappointed. It's definitely my least favorite part of Eclipse, and I hated it. I mean, to be honest, I don't like it. I don't like that storyline. Yeah, it could have been better. It could have been shot better. I'm sure he's a fine actor, but I hated him. I hated his acting in this for some reason.
I actually don't mind it. Like, I like the beginning of Eclipse, but I kind of get what you're saying. Like, the parts when he's yelling at everyone and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Very over dramatic. Anyway, yeah, it had potential. It didn't work for me. I actually almost felt embarrassed watching it.
The Riley
I don't know.
Yeah, I felt that way. Like, I don't know, when I do watch Twilight, when I have watched it with my boyfriend, sometimes I get like nervous. Like, don't think it's lame.
No, the thing is I'm like the boyfriend in the situation. Dan is such a fanboy.
No. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Amanda's a twihard.
She is. She appreciates it.
I do. I loved the book so much.
You're gonna get the prequel book, Amanda, and read that.
I don't know if I want to.
Wait, Amanda, did you read Midnight Sun?
I haven't read it. I don't know if I plan on reading it, but from what I've seen on your Instagram, I think I might like it.
Yeah,
So,
I think you might too.
like, at first I was thinking I think it'd be dumb. I don't like it. And then I see it, I'm like, gosh dang it, it looks good. So, I don't know.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I probably would eventually. So on to the whole Jacob thing. He's a kid. He's literally a kid. He's younger than Bella. In real life too, you know, he's super young. It makes sense that he's immature. I hate it, but it makes sense. And just to put it out there, yeah, I was Team Jacob, but I can't change that. I can't change that. That's just who I am.
I don't know why I love that. Yeah, I was Team Jacob, but I can't change it.
No, it's like I would never choose Jacob in this situation. Jacob is like a brother. He'd be my best friend. Like I vibe with him a lot. I think growing up in a similar kind of situation, like Edward is the rich, mature, like he had all these opportunities, you know, and this is not, I don't know. I felt sorry for Jacob, and so I wanted to defend Jacob.
I get what you're saying. It's like we can debate this all we want, but sometimes you don't really have control
He's
over who you're
literally
attracted
the
to.
underdog.
I'm more attracted to him. I mean, like now, okay, Edward, not attracted to necessarily, but Robert Pattinson, sure, you know?
Everyone is.
Anyway, yeah, what's done is done. I'm Team Jacob. I'm supporting it. So in Eclipse, oh my gosh, obviously the best Team Jacob moment is when they're driving to the high school and Jacob's there in his black like shirt on his motorcycle and the Bad A music's playing in the background. We're all like, ooh, that's our moment. And I love it.
That's our moment.
They gave us that moment. Anyway.
That's true.
The tent scene. So I loved it. I loved it solely for the fact that Edward and Jacob were socializing. I was so happy.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
love that scene too.
Giving each other a chance, you know?
We do need that.
It was cute. I liked it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of Eclipse, actually.
Yeah, I like it. Let's see here. Team Jacob, blah, 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 blah. He's growing up. You see him grow up through the movies and kind of just like realize that he's wrong. I was telling Dan that Jacob and Edward are two types of guys in Utah. I don't know if this is real, like if she meant to do it this way, Stephanie Meyer, or if she just grew up like thinking this. But that's literally the two types of guys you will see. The immature, like creepy freaks, like why are you acting this way? And then you have the like, oh, posh, like nice, I'm so smart, like I'm a good person. I don't know.
Well, we should clarify. Amanda's from Utah. Born and raised.
Yeah. I'm from Utah. I know a lot of Utah stuff here. Maybe she was trying to show that more mature and kind and smart guys are the better choice, right, for girls. She could have also been showing that men can still have good values and still win the girl, you know? Like it's not, you don't need to prove yourself, you know? You can be the nice guy and win the girl. Maybe that was something she was trying to show. But at the same time, Edward does a lot behind her back. And I'm not cool with that. Like he won't necessarily lie, but he'll just not tell her. I'm just like so not okay with that. I feel like he's pretty controlling. A lot of people don't see it that way. But I think that it's important to acknowledge. And I think it's important that as a woman, it's okay to call it out and to see it. And I know Bella does in some moments. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah, like when he like manipulates her truck so she won't go to La Push to see Jacob. That's crossing the line.
I hated that. That was not a good moment for me.
And doesn't tell her about the Victoria thing.
Yeah.
The plane tickets is like, he has this whole idea like, let's go to Florida this weekend. It doesn't say why that was his intention.
He thinks it's better to keep things from her as if she's almost like a little child that needs to protect.
It's such a weird phenomenon because I know all these things and I just choose to not care. I'm like, I don't care. I love Edward.
Yeah.
Like,
A lot of people do. A lot of people do. And that's why I want to call it out. It's like, yeah, we choose to ignore it, but should we? You know? I don't know.
Mm.
It's just something I wanted
like
to
you
talk
said,
about.
though, it's like, I can't help it.
Yeah. It's not going to change.
It's true. You can't. You can't. And if you do, I'm very confused and I want to hear about it. We also talked about, so Jacob's grown up, right? And it's good to see. And in our last podcast, you mentioned we hated Jacob. And I think, Mel, you said you wanted to punch him in the nose, like something about his nose, right? And then Dan and I were watching the movie and we're like, he grows into his nose. Good for Jacob.
He goes into his nose.
He does.
No, if you see pictures of Taylor Lautner now, like it just works.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
I need to check this out. I need to think
I
about
forget
it.
saying that, but it sounds like something I would have said.
No, I think it was Kelly who said that.
He has a very distinct nose, for sure.
It does.
It's like the
Oh
shape
my
of it's
gosh.
almost too perfect to me. It's like,
very triangular.
yeah,
It is.
it is.
Yeah. Jacob's nose. All right. Jacob and Renesmee. Let's get into this shiz. So, in my opinion, the point is that they love each other and will eventually be romantic. Like,
You
that's
think
what I
so?
thought in
Yeah.
the books. Yeah.
I think we're.
I thought it was
supposed to
obvious.
do that. Yeah, no, I think we are. I think it's now we're trying to revise it to be different.
Yeah. It's messed up. I mean, I wish it was never written that way. It grosses me out. I guess to me, it's like this may be taking it too seriously, but it's almost like letting like pedophilia and stuff be okay. Like I don't even think it should have been written, in my opinion. It's sci-fi, right? So it's like imprinting. I don't know. It has two ways it can go, and it didn't vibe with me.
I agree.
You know what's weird? When I watched this with Charlie, we watched Jurassic Park right after. We watched 2 movies one night, and in it was like the dinosaur imprints on the first person or first animal it sees. I was like, what? So, I mean, I guess and that is like a thing I think with birds or something. Like they get attached to whoever they see first.
Yeah.
We've said it on the show, like, you know, Stephanie does a lot in the book to try to clarify it's not like that. But if you have to say that, then that is going too far. Like,
it's not like that. It's not like that.
If you think something seems like pedophilia, maybe not include it.
It is like tilting on that line.
Yeah.
I mean, it clearly shows Jacob as like the protective older brother, but it's not the case. That's just not the case.
Yeah.
Also not
but the thing
necessarily.
is
Like she has parents. You know, Renesmee doesn't need
a protector.
Another protector.
She has literally all these aunts and uncles and grandparents who are vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A whole army of people, and she is a vampire herself.
Like I can get in the animal world, like why that would be really helpful for survival, but like she doesn't technically need Jacob. So
yeah. I mean, the thing is it happens a lot in other countries and cultures, and even here in the U.S. Unfortunately, older men like take in young girls and raise them almost like children up until. I know I was reading this book. It's like they get their period, and now it's time to get romantic and sexual. I'm like, okay, you know, that's just what it seems like to me would happen.
Yeah.
It's just gross. It's really gross.
Well, like Jacob says, I guess I should start calling you dad now to Edward.
Yeah.
That's really in the movie where it confirms that Jacob has the expectation that he is going to be romantic with Renesmee. And I think even if that is the case years from now, when it's more appropriate, if she's full grown, to think that already as she's a child is not okay.
I think a better way to have written it is for Jacob maybe to never, I mean, obviously it changes the whole thing, but like if Jacob were to never imprint on her until she's that young adult, that might be better for me.
We talked about this, like what if Jacob left Forks or La Push and ran off and came back like years later and then imprinted on Renesmee, that would be totally different.
Yeah. Or if we saw Jacob be romantic with someone else after imprinting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That amount of time.
The thing is imprinting is almost like slavery, if you think about it. Like, she didn't get a choice.
Yeah.
You know? And now Jacob's it's sci-fi, it's supposed to be fate, right? But no. She's literally like forced to be with this person forever.
I know. I have seen,
it's just kind of weird.
I'll just say their perspective. I have seen some people like online say like, well, if there was a guy that like was there for you, cared about you, blah blah blah, why wouldn't you choose it?
Maybe she's
It's like
gay.
Yeah, maybe. I know. I mean,
She hasn't even decided her sexuality yet.
I'm just saying,
kind of like
that's what people say.
You're friends with guys, you know, if you're friends with anyone, you love them, you're close to them, you might think, oh, am I romantically like linked to you? Like, it's always, it might be an option. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my Renesmee issue. Also, I don't know if you've seen, but there are memes about the CGI and her legs in that last like scene. It's so bad. I would look it up. Yeah, her legs are so messed up.
Oh, I feel like
it's in the Alice. Yeah, it's in the Alice.
They're really skinny, aren't they?
Flashback. They're skinny and wobbly and creepy.
Yeah, she is like wicked tall and skinny.
Yeah, she has like a huge thigh gap, actually. I just realized that.
It's huge. Anyway, I was just...
She's like a Tumblr model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like a total string bean.
So Dan was mentioning like licking blood clean, right?
Yeah.
I always thought for years, I'm like, yeah, what the F? Why are they leaving this blood? First of all, squeeze it out more. Maybe she can use more of it.
I know.
But like, if I were Bella, I'd be giving Edward my blood all the time. You know?
Okay, what about when she has a nosebleed? Do you think she just like tilts her head back and
all right, we've talked about this. Like, I would love that, but it's just not part of this world. Like, we're supposed to believe he would lose control and blah blah blah. But it would be so hot if she could just give him a taste once in a while. I would love that.
I think that's such a Bella thing to do. I don't know.
Like, that's what I want.
Like in Eclipse, in that like last battle scene with Victoria, she slices her arm, right? And blood's falling. And at the end, like Edward, he worked so hard, right? They fought this battle. I'd be like, do you want some? Like, you need to replenish yourself. Like, he lets it go. He wraps it. Like, why are you wasting that? I don't know.
Because they can't. No, I know the thing. If the rules were different, like, if it was a little different, that would have been cool.
Yeah. I mean, another part that kind of annoyed me is in the flashback to the native tribe and the wife of the werewolf who stabs herself. I got so mad. I'm like, I'm sorry, you kill yourself? Like, why don't you just pull a Bella, slice your arm?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I think that too. Why does she, like, did you
sad?
Why did you stab yourself in the stomach?
In the gut, yeah.
Like, I get it. You know, her son died. She probably thinks that life is, I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I don't know why Dan's saying the fifth movie, like, isn't that great. I love it.
No, I agree with Dan. The fifth movie is actually my least favorite.
I like it more than the fourth one. That's my take.
Me too. See, I don't like the whole romantic stuff, honestly. I don't really care for it. And so I think it's really cool to see kind of different parts of this world that they have, you know, seeing different vampires, different cultures, the flashback scenes. It's my favorite part. I think it just brings something to the books and to the movie that I wish was slowly interpreted the entire time.
Yeah. See, that's the thing though, is I wish that we had maybe more of it leading up, because then once we do meet all these vampires, it's just so jarring. Like, I can't remember
who are you?
Yeah.
I agree. I just thought the final battle scene, oh my gosh, it's so good. It is so good. It gives you everything you want, and then it doesn't actually happen. I'm like, wow, good for this writing. Like, that is exactly what everyone wants. in the battle scene or in an ending. The most satisfying part for me was Dakota Fanning running away when Alice was shooting her. That was her best acting.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
I thought that she could have done a better job, obviously, acting in all of this.
Dakota Fanning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't, reading the book, I didn't picture her character acting as how she did in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
But she did what I thought she did when she was running away. So I was cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a mention about Aro. He must be such a sad person. Like, yes, he has power, but he knows everything about everyone. He must feel so close to everyone, but no one feels the same way.
That is so true.
Dude.
He's
I'd
almost
be so
like
lonely.
a stalker, someone who like spends time in their basement and they know all this information, but like people don't reciprocate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
The
Like,
only person who could would be
about someone. They don't know. They don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
So I feel for him. I do.
Yeah.
I feel for him.
He is complex.
A lot of this stuff is very like complex.
Mm-hmm.
So my last little bit I thought I'd mention is the credits. So in the last movie, the song, it's like 1,000 Years or something plays. That was actually my junior year prom song. I didn't go to prom junior year, but if I were to have, I would have danced to that song. Like,
that was your prom song in your mind.
Everyone like would get together an hour before school and would practice a dance with their date. It's called promenade.
Oh my god.
And
no way.
And then during prom, everything would stop and then all the juniors would get together and do their dance. And so I told that to Dan, and this is the cutest thing, right? Mm-hmm. He got up, and I don't know if it was a joke or not. I don't think it actually was. And he's like, let's dance. I'm like, Dan, that's so cute. So cute. I was so embarrassed. Like, it's too cheesy for my liking.
So cute. Well, you know what? Dan and I actually didn't dance at prom. We didn't really dance.
What?
So junior prom, we sort of did.
Listeners.
Like the classical approach on dancing. Remember, we just kind of like stood next to each other and like.
I think we swayed. I don't think we really danced. So Dan is kind of deprived of that experience as well.
But you guys went to tons of dances.
Oh yeah, listeners, fun fact, Dan and I went to junior and senior prom together.
Wow.
Dream team.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was great because we approached it in a very like pragmatic way, and we're like, no drama, no bullshit. We're just gonna kick ass.
It was really great. Yeah, we didn't have to worry about anyone asking us.
That's really nice. I wish I had someone like that.
Yeah. Cool. You need a twin brother.
I asked my brother, like, would you go to prom with me? No. Like, all right.
Oh.
Yeah. I honestly, I never went to any dance throughout my entire life.
You're so Bella.
Except for prom, and I went senior year only because someone asked me, and actually it was my dad worked with this other guy and his son. They wanted to like get us together, I guess, and go. My dad never went to prom, so he wanted me to go, and I hated every moment of it. But you know, whatever. It's for my dad, I guess. I like avoided the entire night, and I don't know what happened, but someone told me, they're like, you went with this person, you have to dance with them.
That was
this I hated it. Anyway, so yeah, those are my thoughts on Twilight. Yeah. Any more questions for us, I guess?
Questions. I don't know. Guys, this is an amazing episode. This was so much fun.
Yeah. I feel like we covered a lot.
I feel like more questions might come. Oh, one question I wanted to ask is, Dan, do you think that you would read the books?
He's slow.
I don't really, like, I like reading, but for whatever reason, I never get around to reading books. Like, I got a book I was super excited about for my birthday, and it's been sitting in the same spot since my birthday. And I just look at it every day, I'm like, I like this book. I know I'm going to like this book. I want to read it. I just don't do it. Yeah. I don't know. I have had so much fun, like, on this journey, like, watching these movies and talking about it with you guys. I don't think I'm like, I don't think I'm never going to be like obsessed with Twilight or be this fanboy, but I guess I would be interested in reading them, but I realistically don't think it would. I
want to read them to him. I think
nighttime story.
Like, seriously, he's a really slow reader. It would take him so long.
Well, no, I like to absorb the details. I like
You don't think
I like decode.
Yeah, why don't you get the audiobook? And you could just like listen to it while you're working.
How am I going to focus on my work if I'm entangled in the drama of Bella, Jacob, and Edward?
You could read to him like a chapter every
night.
In 6th grade, so this girl, my friend Lauren, she was the first person in our class to read Twilight, and she brought it to the class, and our teacher was out, or maybe she was there, I don't even know, but we had like reading time, and she got up and read the first chapter of Twilight, and everyone was like, whoa, the Apple book, let's read the Apple book, everyone loved it. This guy Zach, oh my gosh, he was obsessed with it. And I think that going back to what Dan said, is like the media, I don't even know, but they kind of ruined it for a lot of the macho guys, right? Because of this whole romance thing. Like it's gonna happen. Team Edward, Team Jacob, it was gonna happen anyway. But it forced a lot of the guys to just pretend like they never liked it in the first place.
Yeah, like Amanda's dad, brother liked the first movie. They were like all gung-ho about it, and then they stopped after that, right?
Yeah.
They never saw another one.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure my dad saw some, but it's just not the same.
I remember going to CCD actually after watching it. Dan was in my CCD class, and Sam Bacon was there, who was a kid in our CCD class. Yeah. Shout out.
First name, last name.
And he had loved it.
Assist coming soon.
Yeah, I went to Twilight with this kid Jimmy, and he really liked it, and was even like, Bella's hot, and like he was into it. And yeah, I don't think Jimmy came with us to the other movies, so
it was a strategic move on their part, and it was a risk, and I think they knew it was a risk. It's like, do we really go all in and totally pander to the most important fans? Or do we keep it generalized and maybe keep the fandom at bay? But
they probably made more money
they made a lot of money selling like Team Jacob and Team Edward folders, Yeah,
it's the merchandise which they made so much money off of. Yeah. But I think it would have been a better quality movie if they kept it more like Twilight.
This might appease to you, Kelly, especially. I got a gift from someone. It was this really beautiful shirt. I loved it. It was 7th grade or 8th grade, and I like found out after 7-8 months of wearing it, it said Cullen on it, and it was the Cullen crest or something.
Oh,
and I'm like,
no way!
Edward shirt. This is
you had no idea that it was even Twilight.
I had no idea.
So funny. That's so funny.
What did you do? Did you burn it when you found out?
I don't remember. I honestly, I like barely grew out of it, and I just threw it away. I liked the shirt. I
bet there's people listening who had the same exact shirt.
Oh yeah, it was blue, V-neck.
Yeah. Wow. Of course it was a V-neck.
Yeah, they definitely made a ton of money on merchandise and all of that. Like, I see why they went in the direction they did, and I think it was probably the right choice. And I mean, the story is still
for business, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, the story is still there. The story did not go away just because the romantic thing was really heightened. Like, it's still under there, and if you're really paying attention to the movie, you can still appreciate it.
Yeah.
I also want to mention SNL with Taylor Lautner.
Oh, yeah.
I was in 8th grade, and it was hilarious, and I'm very proud of him because there are some people who go on to host the show who just don't do a very good job. Their monologue or whatever, it's like, yeah, whatever. And I was pleasantly surprised. His was hilarious. So yeah, shout out.
I think he could have a comedy career. I think that's more suited up his alley. I don't think he's a dramatic actor at all.
No.
He was like, his best scenes were when he was being sassy and snarky.
Yeah, totally.
No, but I have great respect for all of the main character actors, and I think they did
I think he was the worst actor.
Who do I think the worst? Like out of the main characters?
Anybody, just
anyone.
anybody.
Do you have an answer there? I'm
Trying
trying to think.
Taylor Lautner. He wasn't that great. I didn't think he was that great.
Out of the main
I'm
characters,
so confused.
probably-
You're Team Jacob.
I'm Team Jacob, but we know our flaws. I don't think his voice was what I wanted. Jacob's voice.
Yeah.
People say that. Yeah.
And that's, I think, the only reason.
I see.
I remember it's so cool when you read a book and then watch a movie. The unfortunate part is that when you read the book, you lose your imagination on what the characters looked and sounded like.
Yeah.
I remember I had this image on what Edward looked like, and then
me
it was
too.
ruined.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh dang it. His hair was incredible in my mind.
I just remembered. Okay, so least favorite actors. I was very disappointed in Dakota Fanning's acting.
Mm-hmm.
I was very.
The thing about Dakota Fanning, she's a little distracting. I feel like she's too well known.
She is.
What is she doing in that movie?
She's not a bad actor, So I don't know what the issue
I
is.
think she was just a huge fan and wanted to be in it.
Maybe.
I was disappointed in. I don't know his name. You guys probably do, but in the end scene in season 5, the very blonde haired guy with the short hair around his ears who's standing next to Arrow. He's part of the Voltaire.
Caius, yeah.
Jamie Campbell Bower, I think his name is.
I don't think he was the most stunning actor.
Stunning
hair, stunning looks, stunning abs, stunning pecs, but not stunning acting. No. And
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Riley, I didn't like either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his name was.
I don't know if it was his acting or if it was just the placement of him and his character in that movie.
He reminded me.
I didn't like it.
He reminded me of a Sprouse twin for some reason.
He kept saying that the entire time.
Oh, and I remember in the first podcast I said I did not like Jasper's acting. Here's the thing. I don't know why. I guess I never picked up on the fact when I was watching the first 2 that he's supposed to be this man from the South in the 1800s. I thought he just had this weird persona.
That's because it wasn't in it.
His Texas accent was added into it.
Oh.
He didn't have that before.
Oh.
It's not good either way.
I know. They
it's
literally
unfortunately bad. I did say to Dan though, I'm like, he's had I don't know how many years he lives in Washington. He's going to high school. He shouldn't have a Southern accent.
Oh, I know. The guy's been around since the 1850s. Come on, it's time to lose the accent, man.
Maybe trying to just mesh. It's bad. I hate it, but whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I ended up kind of liking Jasper.
No, I like the Southern thing. It gives him more of an identity, but it's annoying to me that they didn't include it in Twilight and New Moon.
Yeah.
And then suddenly his accent slips out.
And you thought we didn't. Is it just because he's reminiscing?
Maybe. Dan kept calling Emmett Cliff.
You
forgot to mention that.
Oh yeah, for some reason. Okay, Emmett is not a fitting name for this beefy brick wall of a man. And I kept forgetting his name, and I just kept every time I would mention the character to Amanda, I would be like, Cliff just did this. He just looks like a cliff.
Yeah, he is
arm wrestling and lifting the logs and stuff.
Emmett sounds like a sensitive poet name.
I know.
I love Emmett. I think he was I wanted to have a crush back when I was first reading it, and I think Emmett was my favorite.
Oh yeah, who's everyone's go around? Who is your crush? You guys are probably just Edward. How about this?
Besides
Edward and Jacob.
Okay, besides Edward, mine would definitely be Emmett.
Cliff.
Yeah.
My crush is Edward and
Carlisle.
I guess my second crush, is probably Carlisle.
Besides Charlie, I love Charlie. I'm in love with Charlie.
Any takers for Motorcycle Guy?
Oh yeah.
No, my crush.
Were we talking about how he was respectful or whatever? I don't know.
No, sarcastically though.
He was we were picking and choosing. He was not respectful, but for what he could have done, he was respectful.
Oh yeah.
He
when you're
stopped
a
the motorcycle.
guy and you just invite this estranged young teenager to hop on your
That's
motorcycle,
messed
you
up.
expect
That's true.
the guy to do something like ghastly, and
Like
he kind of just takes her on a nice joyride and returns her home.
Free ride.
Yeah, no paying for gas. None of it.
Yeah.
No, but my crush besides Marcus, which is obvious. I think I would have to say Alice,
Yeah.
who I was annoyed at in the first and second movies. I thought she was kind of obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Her hair in the 5th movie, I think, is gorgeous.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense for it to change. That's what bothers me.
Yeah. Do vampire? I'm sure it grows. Like if Edward can have a child.
Oh, that's true.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to change.
But they change it so much that we have to believe it does.
Who else do I have a crush on? Anyone?
I feel like there's someone else I have a crush
Sometimes
on.
Jasper a little bit.
Sometimes Mike.
Sometimes Mike.
I think I might have liked Mike when I read the book. I have a question. So in the book, I don't know if this was in my mind or not, but for some reason I always thought Bella's shield was green. Wrong. In The Incredibles, like what's her face with the
Violet?
shield? Yeah, Violet.
Yeah.
I think I might have just kind of taken that memory of The Incredibles and put it into my mind when reading. But I thought when Bella was shielding people during the fight scene, it was like an actual obvious shield.
Yeah.
So that movie
like
kind of threw me off.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this was a fun experience.
This was so fun.
A long time coming.
Thank you guys for being on the show. This is probably our longest episode.
You can tear back if you have to.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was very long.
Maybe. At least our bathroom breaks all cut out.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, guess we'll call it. Guess that's a wrap.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, no problem. See you later.
See you at the festival.
See you in Washington.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. If you guys went, that would be so cool.
That would be so
It's not an if. We're going.
No, we decided we're going to go.
It's been decided. We're going to go.
Okay, guys, everyone listening has to go so you can meet the Dan and Amanda from Another Bite of Twilight.
We're going to have t-shirts. We're going to have autographs.
No one will have one.
It's sarcasm, Amanda.
No. He wants it badly.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.